Hey guys, sorry about the delay. I apologize wholeheartedly. I'm running so behind. I had a mini home repair to do, and it was not fun. It was a pain to do. Um, I think I'm about ready to get started though, guys. So that's why the music came on, and that's why I'm here. I just wanted to get you guys to know that I'm here and I'm live finally. I might do a quick shout out to everything that's going on. Interesting post from somebody on social media. I'm not looking at it right now. I mean, I did glimpse at it, but that was not what I was looking at right now, guys. I'm trying to get to my stuff so I can, my stuff, the stuff that I'm doing, the stuff. I gotta back up the computer so it's not in the camera shot, and also I got, oh, that's my phone. Yeah, go me. There's a lot of people that post about a lot of opportunity that they have for what do you call it? Posting that you're online broadcasting. So I'm gonna see if I can get some of that action, that sweet hey Jason's broadcasting action. Oh, that's right. I also need to have the point. The point. Let me scoot this. What? Are you about to come out? No, you're not gonna come out. Okay. I need the full screen camera shot. Anyway, before I do that, let me test it real quick. And I just want you guys to know, I'll probably be on this camera the whole time, except for brief pauses. I will have the big screen, the small screen pulled up. Let's see if we can move it a little bit that way. If I pan it in a little bit more, there we go. That should be good. And if I can get it up a little higher, there we go. Now you can actually see most of it without getting too much of the side action going on. So that we've got a pretty good setup here. Let me see if I can get hold that thought, friendo. Let me go ahead and go away from this screen because that's going to be boring as heck for you guys to watch that whole screen while I get this stuff set up. Like I said, this home repair kicked my butt, guys. I got to go into Discord and stuff and see. I'm going to text. Is there a promotion in her channel? Streamers going live? You do not have permission to send this channel. That must be not for them. General, angry events, music, games, memes, gifts, arts, pets, clips, self-promotion. Self-promotion, here we go. This is the start of the self-promotion channel. Dad jokes, stream updates. Is that for her? I missed her Valentine's Day stream. That sucks like poop. This guy, Happy Flannel. Promote yourself. About to go live to start my Baby Yoda. Sorry, this is boring as crap. I apologize for that, Yoda. In Copics. Now I have to lowercase, wait, lowercase https. I was like, I can't read this out loud. Yes, I can. If you're watching this, you're already here. Twitch.tv just oh, there you go. Just see start. I'm gonna grab all of that and select it all. Copy that, and I'll send that. Let's see if that works. Yep, that worked. So now the other channel was Arthagorius. Don't have a channel for him. Who was another one that lets me self-promote? Devicat. Announcements, Twitch going live, Twitch promo. Here we go, Twitch promo. About to go live, post that. Debbie, I believe, is actually live right now. Zippy, zippy, zippy. Make sure it actually went through. Boink. There we go. Okay, so that's two channels that have been alerted. Let's. Oh, wait. That's right. The camera's not the right angle for this. It's not the right setup, is it? It's not even the right thing. It's not like Michael Caine. You know, it's not even the right thing, is it? It's not even the right one. Anyway. My lighting setup is absolute la poop. Poop, la poop, la poop, la poop. The good news is that most of my ordeal of the day is over. The bad news is I've got a little bit more stuff to do Poopale, poopale, poopale. My wife's final birthday gift came a week late, but it came. Y'all want to see this, don't you? Not up and down. You want to see this, guys. Oh, I'm going to work on a new emote. I also have a new command tonight, guys. The new command is speed. You just click on this window here and you type _speed. And it gives you a little bit of a brief rundown of what I'm doing. Which is, I'm filming my progress on Baby Yoda so I can speed it up for a speed drawing video. Pardon our messes. My setup is different than usual. Even though chat is not on the screen, it will not be on the screen here. I will be keeping up with chat. So I'll still have it up on my other screen. I'll still talk about it. I may not stop and pause like I normally do. But it will not be visible in the video for obvious reasons. I'm going to put hello everyone. Hello everyone. I don't think the chat is visible. That's what's... Oh, it's not here. How do you add chat, guys? No, there it is. Well, that was delayed reaction. Okay, so let me turn off my laptop cam and turn on the display capture, which is the monitor. That is, and actually let me switch to full screen. Zoink! I like making the sounds. There is Sarah's next emote, which is take me forever. I need to text people and let them know I'm online. I thought people knew I was online. And, I know I was late, but come on, guys. I text my crew of people. I'm gonna... She's probably gonna tell me she can't watch. Let me switch to my other friend. I'm on now. Boink. And what's the other one I wanted to do? Not here. Yeah, not here. Not in the Disquad. I'm going to the screaming people. I'm gonna probably drive my friends crazy with this. Let me not do it there. Let me do this one. Sorry guys, it's like really the most boring part of this stream. I should have done all this beforehand. Okay. Oh, he said it that way. Sweet. I'm already hungry. My lame butt's already hungry, guys. Boink. Nope. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. We are now... Okay, so now this is where we are at right now. This is Sarah's email. I gotta do the two braids and then color it. I did something really fun with this. I'm gonna show this before I get started, guys. Because it's just gonna be fun to have something besides what I'm about to do. I mean, not that what I'm about to do is not gonna be fun. It's just it's gonna be a long process. So, the original... Stop left clicking. Okay, I got the mouse in here. Anyhow, did I shift it? Oh, yeah, that's right. I did shift it. So the original was like this. The original was like this. Okay? So that's the original. And, no, it's not. Not anywhere close, JJ. Here we go. Oh, I have everything turned off. Here we go. Jeepers. Oh, when you click on something that doesn't... Clicked on 3 times, 4 times now. 5 times. 6 times. 7, still no response. Now it's froze. Hoping that will refresh. There we go. I've clicked this 7 times. This lady's head, no, stop. Here we go. Finally, I have control. Okay, here's the original sketch, right? So then I was like, you know what? I shifted it over, made it bigger. Then I did a quick sort of line art over it. Wasn't happy with it, so I made it blue pencil line instead. Turn that off. And then I started inking over the top of that. So there's face outline. Actually, I think I slimmed down the face from there. Didn't I? Yeah, that was the wrong hair. Yeah, that was the right one. There we go. There's the eyes. Droplet. And, of course, there's the... Come on, stupid bean. Stop being a butt. There we go. Yeah, like, it doesn't want to... There it goes. So there's the glasses. So that's everything all put together, finally. I gotta label my layers. But the good news is, I mean, this is the drawing now. So that's with just the inking parts. And I've got... That's the blue line. I think it's coming along pretty cute because it's gonna be like this big, and I'm gonna make that part bigger, of course. Right now it's only occupying about the bottom half of it. Oh shoot, what did I do? So there's that. So that's gonna be bigger, and I put BRB above the head. It'd be pretty cute. I matched Sarah's other emotes. I hate that scroll doesn't work unless you're actually clicking on the window. I hate that. There's no reason it has to be that way. Why do you have to be like this? Anyway, let me move my phone over here somewhere so I can get that on my way. Here we go. And why does it look like it's barely in the camera? Come on. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. My laptop's really precariously balanced on the edge. Let's see if it's tippy. No, it's not tippy. It's going to be weird having it in the top corner, but I'm going to have to deal with it. All right, guys. So I got my Copics. As I plunk it right on the drawing. I need to have a clear space, so I'm going to have to make a mess on the floor for a minute. I'll put my Copics on this little tray right here. I probably could put my laptop there. Put my Copics in front of me. Will my laptop hold there? Will there be enough cordage for it? Looks like there's enough cordage for it. It shouldn't fall. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoa, Debbie. You just caught me completely off guard. Oh my god. I need a raid call. Sorry, I've got a different setup today. I'm so sorry. Can we get a shout out? I'm going to do a shout out real quick for you. Debbie, please show me what you were working on. I peeked in on it. Hi, everybody. I'm... You guys, I wasn't expecting this at all. Hey, Debbie, how's it going? I hope that was the right command. Yes, it was. I wasn't expecting that. I'm starting a speed run of Yoda tonight. Speed drawing. So I've got a bunch of new colors and stuff, so I'm trying to get them all out while I've got a moment to get started. Oh my gosh. What were you working on? Like, I think I saw, yeah, you can see the outline, guys. Sorry, I'm kind of like all over, my arms are all over the place. Normally my setup looks kind of like this, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be filming it like, oh, that's not right. Laptop cam. There we go. Most of the time my setup's more like this, but I'm not going to film a speed drawing and then crop it down. I'm going to shoot full screen. Oh, Aurora Lee, thanks for the follow. Oh, I stopped in earlier before I was getting set up for stream, and I was lurking. And can you post a link to the full drawing? Do you have it posted yet? I mean, I know I'm in your Discord, but I want it for everybody else to take a look at. Guys, if you don't know Debbie Cat, she's amazing. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I click on the right thing. Yeah, please. And go ahead and link it. Oh, let me go ahead. One thing, I got to suspend my Nightbot, because I've had a bad string of people just spamming the crud out of my chat, just random bots. So let me see if I can turn off the commands that will stop spam protection. Here we go. I think I turned off link sharing. Disabled. Good. It shouldn't give you any problems. If it does, I will punish Nightbot for that, because it shouldn't be hurting my friends. I'm getting all my Copics out, all my greens. So I'm basically, the basic idea here is, oh, another follow. Thank you. Sorry, I don't have the notifications on this screen. That's why I need to switch. Ah, don't worry, Debbie. No rush. I never have stuff to show. Whenever I raid somebody at the end of my stream, I'm always like, hey, they're like, send something over. And one person was like, Jason, are you shy? And it was because I was still scrambling to get a screenshot up. So trust me, I know how it is to. The last thing on my mind when I'm done with something is, hey, let me take a photograph to put on social media. Usually my main thought is, I'm so tired. Like, that's the main one. Well, I finished my fan art for going. Man, there's so much chat. I'm so sorry I'm missing some stuff, guys. Oh. I missed a bunch of follows here. Perspective of a box, thank you. Lasuk, I think is how it is. Hello? No. Oh, there it is. Let's look at this. Let me pull it up. Is it going to do it in a weird way? Or can I copy paste it into cup of coffee? Thank you for the follow. I hope it doesn't open it up in Explorer. Or social thing. What you call it? Finished version will be on social media soon. Are you going to put it on the Discord? I know some things you can't put on the Discord channel because of, you know, I think you've said before in your channel that fan arts and certain things can't be available, but certain things can be. Blatsuk, hi, how's it going? Oh, it doesn't, Devi, it doesn't sound weird at all. I've actually been told that a lot, and I went through a lot of self-confidence issues. And, Bunny Bun, thank you. Bun Bun. I went through a lot of self-confidence issues, even though I work in a call center. And I've had people before tell me, you know, oh, your voice sounds so good, you should be in advertising. And I thought it was just flattery just to get on my good side. So I honestly thought, you know, that's just flattery. They just want... No, I've actually heard that so many times, I'm starting to believe in myself. I'm like, oh, thank you. And a good friend of mine told me that too. She says, oh, God, your voice is so soothing. I'm like, is it? Thank you. But let me get set up, guys, because I'm sure you not want to watch me. Oh, Murat Twitch, thank you. Or Mern Twitch, thank you. Sorry, I misread your name. My chat is up, but it's so tiny, so I might be missed a ton of stuff. So Aurora Lee, I think everybody said thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow too, Mern Twitch as well. Yeah, definitely. I think I saw Matt in here. Hello, Matt. Let me go back to my main page here so I can get started. Well, I just brought back from shopping milk, cheese, fish, frozen veggies. Hopefully, you're not in the path of a lot of the storms I've been going through across most of the country. That's the one thing that's kind of been scaring me is how bad the storms have been. I got to pull up my reference too. That was the other thing I was missing. Fan art is wallpaper soon. They'll be in the Discord hopefully in the next couple of days. Awesome. Did it pull up finally? I did a restart. I was coy enough. Oh, it looks beautiful. Let me put this on the full screen here. After my clever little transition. Boink. There we go. But there it is. Can I full screen it? Yeah. It looks cute. I've been watching you for a lot of tips. I've been working on a friend of mine's emotes. So I've been working like crazy. I'm like peeking in and getting some tips and stuff. And I need to pay for my trial of Lazy Nizumi. It's actually helped out a lot of getting some of my line art done. Oh, I can zoom in just a little bit more. And this was for a contest, you said? Yeah, I've loved it so far. It's rounded out a lot of the rough edges. Oh, that's super bright. I might have to adjust that manually. I have a what do you call it? A Lex Pro. I was thinking about Lexmark, and it's Logitech. That's the word I'm looking for. I have a Logitech 920, and sometimes I don't have it set to hard settings. So when I go to switch views, sometimes it misaligns with my light, so I can just adjust that manually. It was for I gotta move the Lazy Nizumi out of the way so I can get to it. There we go. Click on it. Why are you being stubborn? There we go. There we go. Lazy Nizumi. It was a great it was a contest, except I didn't make the deadline, but that's fine. I know how that is, though. I've done that before. I've entered contests and intended to, and it just backfired on me. Time runs out, and it just... I'd rather be happy than be stressed, you know? That's the hard part. Like, you want to get these things done. It helps. Exposure is always nice. Turn off that and see if we can get that better. Much better. I had to put a -6 on the exposure. Okay, there we go. Because now it's not like so bright in your guys' face. That's terrible. Okay. Now I think you can see the line art. Yes, you can see the line art. Fantastic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crop this when it's done. So it's okay if I make color swatches on the side. And the other thing I needed to do, and that's beautiful work, Debbie, by the way. You always do such beautiful stuff, and I'm always like, let me peek in on that. Usually you stream during the morning. And guys, if you don't follow Debbie Cat, she's amazing. She's been one of the biggest inspirations for me when it comes to streaming. Like her stream style, the thing she always says is comfy, cozy streams, and I always feel like so relaxed when I go into her room. And there's been days it's been kind of like, today is terrible, and then I open up her stream and just listen to her work on some stuff. Yes. Hold on. I do have that though. I do have that cup of coffee. Hold on. I just didn't put it on the screen. Oh, because I'm filming. I do have it, but I took it off because I'm filming. I will put it on temporarily. Oh, thank you. It's very, very rudimentary stages, guys, and like I said, I'm setting up for the speed drawing part of it. Can I add that web browser? I know it's a web source, isn't it? To do that, because I'm still working on some stuff getting set up with that. It's a web. I'll switch to the main screen for a hot minute while I get some of the other stuff out. I gotta get the reference pulled up, so let me switch to the other source so you can get the drops. I added the drop game. No, I haven't started filming yet because I can't find the reference. I gotta pull up the reference photo first, so there's really no rush on that. Hey, Lalas, how's it going? I am a fan of Star Wars. Let me see, is it Mern Twitch. Oh yeah, Debbie, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for bringing you guys around here. Debbie, I really appreciate the raid. Actually, I think you're my first real raid. I had a raid one time that was a party of one, and I don't know who it was. It was just a random night I was playing Overwatch. So you're my first raid. Thank you. Yeah, all right, Lala's going well. Kids in bed, and I'm relaxing finally. Yeah, Debbie, please rest up. Have a good time. I know you've had some storms go through kind of your area too, but a couple days ago. So, what are you working on? Oh, you gotta go. So I'll find out what you're working next. Wapak, thank you for following. Let me go ahead and I also got to do a shout out because I would be remiss not to do a shout out for Stellar. I know he's not here, but you are representing him, Lalas. So Stellar Player, he's another one. Stellar and you, Debbie, have been. I hope I'm spelling that right. Is that right? Did I do that right? But yeah, you and Debbie and Stellar Player, I watched both their channels. I was kind of not in a great place today, and both of them really kind of made my day a lot better. So I really appreciate both of them. Debbie's an amazing streamer. If she's still here, I'm going to boast on you a little bit. I think I already did, but she does amazing artwork. I mean, like I said, I just showed some a minute ago. She does all kinds of self art, fan art. Yeah, definitely. After I got done with watching you and Stellar, I lurked on Debbie a little bit during while I was eating dinner. Gotta find that photo. That's the one thing I'm bad about, guys, is having the photo reference. My computer was slow, so I had to restart everything last night. And in the process, I had to close everything off. And then I had to basically play Sherlock Holmes and hunt down where I stuck it from the night before. Let's see. Have fun. See ya, Debbie. Enjoy supper. Kids are in bed. Are you guys going to watch a movie, Lalas? He's working tonight. I'm not a fan of night shifts. Oh, man, that's tough. No wonder he's streaming during the day then. I'm actually trying to do more realistic art more, so seeing yours is a huge motivation. Oh, thanks. I'm going to humble boast a little bit about myself. I didn't really start working with Copics until about 9 years ago at my call center job. And I really kind of took to them because they're easy to... I'm a painter primarily, so the ability to have a paint style look that I can cap and put away was a big deal. And I just started liking the Copics a lot. I used to work with Prismas, and Prismas aren't the greatest. Their color messes up. They don't blend very well. Like, there'll be chemical reactions between the pens. It's not very consistent. You get some funny things with Copics from time to time, but for the most part, they're very sound and very easy going markers. And I've been working with Copics for a good long time. And again, I'm going to do a little bit of a humble boast here. I entered the Copic marker contest last year, so the 2021, and my piece was a finalist. And actually, it's right here. It had to be sent to Japan to be part of the contest, and I just got it back like last week. So they framed it for me too, which was nice. I'm gonna bring it on camera real quick, and then I'm gonna start drawing Baby Yoda. I promise. Be right back, guys. So Copic brought it back, and they framed it. Look how beautiful this is. So that was the piece. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Murren. Yeah, it was just, I loved the chance to participate in that, but it was kind of heartbreaking to see that my drawing had to be in Japan for 6 months, especially since I gave it as a gift to my friend, the model of the drawing. You see Spock art. Yes. I forget I have at the bottom a scrolling, scrolling. These are usually little mini sketches, or that's another Copic piece, the Catwoman that's on there now. Usually it's oh, you're a huge fan of Star Trek. I like both, though. That's the funny part. Like, I know there's a huge amount of kind of animosity between the two worlds. There'll be, Star Trek fans, and there'll be Star Wars fans, and they really never the twain shall meet. I've never been in one thing. Oh, thank you for the follow, Very Red Fox. Sorry, it must have happened when I had my headphones off. But, so yeah, I've always, same, but I always tend to tell people they are completely different. I've always seen the difference being that almost difference between Jules Verne and H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells was more about the philosophy of what would happen with science fiction stuff, and Jules Verne liked to explain it a lot more. So Star Trek to me is more like Jules Verne. It's explaining the science behind it. Star Wars doesn't really care about explaining the science behind, just accept that it does work. I think Star Wars kind of sucks when it starts to explain the science behind stuff. I feel like that's like when they start explaining like fuel sources and things like that, it's like less interesting. Like just give me, I don't care if the swords are magical. I don't need explaining why the swords work. Just get to it, it's okay that they have magical space swords that are like lasers. That's fine by me. You don't need to explain it. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, since the border of it has a lot of empty space, I'm going to trim all of this off here. I don't know if you can see the little marks here. There's a mark there, and there. Because I want it to be smaller. But that gives me a chance to go past the edge and not have to worry about it. But I can actually do test spots of the colors. So, and I actually added 2 new colors to my arsenal this week from my local supply store of art. So, but it's true though. I don't know, if something's good, I don't like putting borders on stuff. So let me start with G. Let me start with the new one was. What was the new ones? And by the way, you should, before we get started, because I can edit out any portions of this, but I'm probably spamming everything else. Is probably about how good the art is. No. The thing is, Matt can attest to this. Matt is a longtime friend of the channel. This is my Copic collection, by the way, guys. I wanted to show that real quick. Not in boasting, because literally this was my first Copics 2012, and I've expanded this over the course of 9 years. And some of these are the refills, and obviously they're a bit messed up because I was doing a Captain Jack Sparrow drawing, and I'll show you that in a minute, guys. Oh, this is one of the colors. BG 1993. These are the new ones. I felt like these were very Yoda colors. So, and actually looking at the reference photo, they couldn't have been more spot on. And if they're a little off, it's not going to be a big deal. But, I built this collection over 9 years. This is not a, hey, I just jumped in head first. I don't have tons of money. I bought pieces of the streaming equipment slowly. This microphone is about 4 or 5 months in my possession. The camera's probably less than a month and a half old. I mean, I didn't jump in head first. I buy little teeny pieces. Let me show you the Jack Sparrow real quick if I have it. Oh, is it handy? Yeah, let me show you the Jack Sparrow real quick. But there's my in progress Jack Sparrow. So I ran out of the colors to do. Actually, it's really still bright. Let me make sure that, because my laptop monitor is not the best. I could do the little saturation. A little bit. No, it's about accurate on my good monitor. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. I ran out of the colors to do his hair, so I had to order these refills, which is the W7. That's the darker parts of the hair. So, and then I paused on it because I had a commission for Christmas, which I just finished. And then I was doing some figure work to get put back in practice in that. And I also wanted to do this, because I've always wanted to do another speed run drawing. Speed run. I keep saying speed run. I'm playing a lot of games, if you can tell. I actually quite like the dimmer colors. Yeah, I don't know. It can feel a little bit more decorative when you sometimes it's just too much bright colors in our world. But the bright colors do get the wows a lot of times. But that's why I kind of like the Baby Yoda, because it's Baby Yoda's muted greens and things, so it's a little less intrusive. Let me go ahead and set. These are the colors I've selected as being test colors here. And I'll kind of call them out as I do them, because I know the camera's not really focused. It's focused for table level, and I could probably get the camera to refocus, but I don't want to lose the focus. It's actually pretty good on the paper right now. Make sure here. Could maybe do it a little bit. Is that really close? I have it really tiny, so it's hard for me to tell. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'll just call it the colors, because like I said, I'm the kind of person that when I watch other streamers use Copics, I'm going to ask them, what colors are you using? BG 93. This is BG 93. Yeah, that's a very good Yoda color. There was another BG that I had. So the colors are indicators of like the color scheme. The letters and numbers, I mean. So BG 90 should be a lighter color than BG 93. That's why I kind of put it below it. They're very pale, actually. BG stands for blue-green. Usually the lower the number, the purer the color. So like this one's BG 10. So if you notice, this one's gonna be a lot like more vibrant of a green. It's harder to tell in the stream, but it definitely is like a very minty green, as opposed to the much more muted mossy green of that. So, and I've got some yellow greens here. This is yellow green 61, yellow green 03. Let me sort these by yellow greens. And I always do these kind of test swatches on the paper I'm going to draw it on if I've got space, because the color of the paper will distort it. This is a G21. But always the color of the paper is going to distort things. So I always try to make sure that I do test pieces. G94. I flip that pencil right across the board here. Right across my drawing table. Not too particular which tip I use. The Copics have two sides. That's really helpful. I kind of always pass off the letters numbers as random. The pencil flip, I know, it's like whoosh, zoink, like that. Yeah, the YG is yellow greens. So this is YG 63. I think I've got 3 or 4 in the same family. Usually, if the numbers are very close to each other, that means they're part of the same family. I've got YG 63, 41. 45. Okay, those are part of the same family. 41 and 45 are. 61, 63, those are part of the same family. 3 and 91. These are on opposite sides. And again, 3 is the brightest, purest color. This is YG03. That's going to be the purest green. I mean, that's almost a neon green off camera. Then we have YG41. YG45. These are very pure greens. Again, low numbers, 40, 41, 45. They're very, 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 very pale. I mean, very, very pure colors. So those are the ones that are very bright on the camera. And then you just start getting higher numbers like YG61. You start getting a little bit more mossy. YG60, mossy, listen to me. 91. And then we'll get started in earnest on this. Oh, this one's dried out. Hazard, hazard, hazard. Yeah, this one's dried out. I may have already known that, so I'll make a note of this one. Draw a little circle line through it. Have you ever done animal realistic drawings like horses? A long time ago, actually. There was one of my sister's coworkers commissioned me to do a series of paintings the size of a window, and I made a horse head that looked like it was looking through a window. I don't think I've got any good photos on social media of those. It literally is just like paintings I did of in just like a regular enamel paint you'd get at like Ace Hardware. All right, let's get started here. Wish I had my mouse handy. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to probably lay down some very basic colors. Oh, come on. My computer is set to only use the zoom on the window which was last clicked. All right, also too, I like that sandy brown color, so I'm going to have to see about the sandy browns for his, I think it's E53. Is that too bright? E53. Yeah, it's a little too bright. 53. I'm going to have to do some research to figure out what color I want to use for that. Oh, maybe 123 then. That's really, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's really yellow. Never mind. That's really yellow. Oh, and I reversed them, so that's going to be this one. Boink. And that one's boink. I did a full body horse release, so that's why I was curious. No, that's okay. I'm glad you asked. I don't mind answering questions. I have done a lot of animal drawings. Actually, my recent commission was a boy and a dog. So, and I haven't posted pictures of it yet because I don't feel right posting pictures when the actual person doesn't have possession of the image yet. So I'm always kind of like, let me not share it to social media until they actually have it in their hands, if they're okay with that. Okay, so, ooh, I think, yeah. I'm actually going to start with a very boring part first. And I want to start with the Y23 I just had, which is right back here. Going to get rid of most of that pencil line that was in there just so I can start coloring it in. I always turn it so that the curvature goes, I think of it like a rainbow. So if I can, except for that part of the ear, I don't need to worry about that. But I try to make sure all the strokes are curved this way. So I normally would have turned it this way so that the curve there of the ear, that top part, would be arced that way. And that's why I did turn it this way for this one. And I'll probably turn it back this way so that I can do the top part of the head here. And let me take out that pencil line so it's not going to be in the final drawing. A light pencil line's fine. But yeah, I like to just start chiseling around the halo part of it. You know, just start, get some lights, get some darks down. If I don't talk much, I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep peeking, like I said, I'm going to keep peeking in chat even though I don't have chat. Even though I don't have chat pulled up where I can see it fully. Okay, let me move the reference image a little bit to the right. Yeah, that's going to be about right. I'm not so worried if the curve isn't exactly correct because this isn't about the curve of his baby carriage. This is about his face. So I want to get to that, just get some basic colors laid down in the background just to get, you know, quick and dirty, so to speak. Also, too, it's going to be, I turn it to, I always thought it was an odd habit of mine, but I'm pretty sure I've always done it. That's a good thing to do, though, because I think a lot of folks just think, oh, you know, drawing, easel, don't rotate what you're working on because, you know, you have to see it upright. I rotate everything. I mean, I rotate it so that it's, you know, upside down, sideways, you name it. And actually, I'll sometimes do it just as when I'll rotate the reference and draw completely upside down. Because sometimes it helps to just divorce our brains from what we think we see so that we can actually, you know, actually observe what we're actually seeing and not try to rely on what we think is out there. By the way, if you see a little bit of a line through there, that's just because the paper's got a grid behind it. So if you see a dark line or two, that might be just the paper being soaked so much that you're seeing through the paper. This is a very lightweight paper. This is called Strathmore Drawing, literally just drawing. That's all it is. This is actually the 400, which isn't this one. This is the one they bleach. No, this is the one, isn't it? No, this is the white one that's not bleached. I mean, is bleached. This one's the bestest quality. This one's not bleached, so this one tends to be See, I made a mistake with Jack Sparrow, so I redrew it. I made a mistake and tore the paper up there, so I started all over again. I used this, as you can see, as a test sheet. Same thing happened with the Lindsay drawing I just showed you. This was the original one. I didn't like the colors blending up there, so I just started over again, and I used this as a blotting sheet to test colors. Oh, Matt. Oh, I should also shout out you, Matt. Completely forgot. Matt and I do a podcast about talking about random nerdy things, so let me shout you out real quick before I forget. Oh, boink, 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 boink. Where'd my mouse go? Here, mousey mouse. Where's the pointer? Okay, there it is. There he goes. Shout out. There we go. There we go. Matt and I have been working on a podcast. It's not released yet, but like I said, what we do is we just sit around and talk about crazy stuff. Usually, Matt will pick a topic. Like right now, it's I don't want to spoil too much, Matt. So if you hear me spoiling too much, be like, come back and say, Jason, don't spoil that. But one of our topics was heist movies, and we just talked about the concept of heist movies, our fascination with them, our favorite versions of that. Oh, that soaked over a little bit, didn't it? Another reason to keep moving it too is, depending on how moist the air is, that can affect how it goes into the paper. When comic conventions were still a thing, remember that, guys? When I attended SC Comic-Con, the air in there is so wet that when I worked with the Copics, they wouldn't dry for a long time. And I haven't run my dehumidifier here in the house for quite a while, and I'll bet that's probably having a factor on how this is working. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to do some of his ear. Yeah, I want to do some of his ear. So I'm just going to, like I said, erase out the existing colors. And there is, if you heard that, that's my puppy dog barking. BG90? Yeah, BG90 looks right. So what I'm going to do is take the BG90, the blue-green 90, which is called, believe it or not, Gray Sky. It's funny, it's a blue-green, but it's called Gray Sky. But when you see this color, it's a very pale green. But again, that's the whole point, is to be this. Oh, let me rotate the reference image. That's the one thing I wish. I have Photoshop elements, and yeah, Matt's pretty cool. Matt makes these cool goblets. Tuck a hush, boy. He makes these cool goblets with Sculpey clay. He takes a pre-existing goblet and adds on to it. I think his most recent one was Lord of the Rings inspired. So Matt and I are probably going to be talking about what's the word I'm looking for? Like Indiana Jones stuff, Okay, so I want to leave that white top just for right now. And draw that in there. Trying to preserve as much of that white edge as possible. I'm going to probably take some white gouache, which is like this opaque. When I was typing that, you mentioned Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm going to probably make a lot of the community very upset real quick, but I'm also going to... I'm going to vindicate myself really quickly. When I was younger, I had the chance to watch Lord of the Rings. And when I watched them, I was like, meh. Wasn't impressed. Then something happened. I don't know what it was. I went back and watched them in my college days because I saw them when I was like 10 or 15 or whenever they came out. Because I'm about to be 40, so that tells you about I was probably a teenager or a young adult when they first came out. But when I went back and watched them a second time, my wife, and we were both like, I don't know, it wasn't that big of a deal the first time. Let's try watching it again. Maybe we'll like it better. And when we watched it the second time, we were like, because we watched it apart from each other. I don't even know if she watched it. I know I did. And I was like, meh, not that big of a deal. And then when I watched it the second time, I was like, why did I think these movies were kind of like boring? This is the most incredible story I've seen in a long time. So I went from being like, nah, not that special, to being like, what was I thinking? I think it just took me the second time of viewing it. That really made me go, yeah, I get it. I really get it. And I think that's sometimes true with a lot of good art. The Philadelphia Story, the comedy. I watched The Hobbit. Hold on, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Throws it up. I know that's the drawing one. Let's see, scroll up a little bit too far. All right, I watched The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I love them, but I refuse to rewatch them due to the fact that I never stop crying during the movies. Yeah, I know. I can understand that. I watch Pixar movies. It's kind of a little bit of, I got to be careful how much I watch them because it can, be very bittersweet. So I understand that. I can relate to this experience, says a very red fox. I wasn't impressed when I first saw them to realizing how amazing they are. That's true. It's like, there was a comedy movie called The Philadelphia Story with Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and Jimmy Stewart. And everybody said, oh, it's such a great film. It's such a great film. It's such a great film. I watched it, and I was like, this is the dumbest movie ever made. How is this a classic? This is so, so dumb. Put it away, never saw it again. Well, didn't see it for a long time. And then for some reason, I don't know what possessed my family to say, you know what, let's give it try number 2. And then, for some unknown reason, it clicked. It clicked. I also read the books before, so that made me more sad to me. Yeah, that can be true. I'm going to catch up on some of my girly shows since Stella's working. I'll be lurking. Have a great stream. Thanks, Lalas. Thank you so much. What girly show are you going to watch? Can you tell me before you disappear with your lurk? My wife right now is watching This Is Us. I try to plan my streams around times when she's watching something that she really wants to see that I'm not into. I'm not into This Is Us. I just haven't watched it to the degree that she has. So a lot of the subtleties of that show would go right over my head, and I don't want to be the killjoy that's like, honey, what's this mean? What's that about? This is Us. Okay, then I'll let you go watch it. Go watch it. Like my wife's watching it. It's a good show. I love it. I don't know what's going on, and I feel so lost. RV91 looks like a good color for the inner parts of his shading of his ear. And we're going to head to that next. I should have done more. Hold on, I'm going to do more green carrying over. Because right now I just kind of quit. And I'm like, no, don't quit, Jay. Go all the way. Kind of cover most of the ear. Again, you're not going to see most of this. Because it's going to be so dark in this. Because this is the ear that's in the shadows. And actually, that's part that's going to be cut off anyway. I like how this kind of dried a little bit more even colored. And it looks like it didn't bleed over. I thought it bled over, but I mean, it looks like it may have done. Let me see. No, it didn't bleed over. Good. And that was that orange color, wasn't it? That was the Y. Here we go. I don't like quite how this lined. So my sisters and I were younger. We would watch the original Barbie movies. My dad would always say the lines before they happened because he knew them word for word. He loved the movies. Like, I've got nothing against chick flicks or anything like that, I don't. My wife and I, we got into this thing where we watched, what's the name of that movie? Julia, which is about Julia Childs. And Julie, what's her last name? I can't remember who wrote the book about her cooking through Julia Child's cookbook. And there was a period of our life where we obsessively quoted from that movie, like, all the time. So, chick flicks and me, not a big problem. Some I love, some I don't love. Just depends on how well they're made. Like Julia, well-made movie. It's a very well-made movie. I still love that her kitchen is in the... Proud Nerd Girl, hi, how's it going? Jason, looks like you're having an amazing stream. I just got home and ready for bed. I love that movie. Julie is an amazing movie. Stanley, I would say Stanley Tucci's performance as what's his name? Child, Mr. Child. I can't remember his first name now. Paul Child, and Julia Child are I would say they're relationship goals, but I kind of have a loving relationship already. So it's like, don't ever replace the one I've got, but they are definitely goals. Definitely goals. And guys, Proud Nerd Girl is amazing. I wish she'd stream again. I showed off your emote earlier in stream, Sarah. And actually one of the people that actually helps me learn better techniques about designing stuff on the computer. Her name is Devicat. She's dropped in. She actually rated me. So, and this is Proud Nerd Girl. Proud Nerd Girl deserves a lot of credit. I used to stream for a long time, and then I gave up. And Proud Nerd Girl is the one that really got me back into it after I don't know, 6-7 months of not doing any streaming whatsoever. I wouldn't even want to be on Twitch. It was just a bad time for me. She's like, you need to get back into this. And because she'd never streamed before. And then I don't know if I got her into it or she just started watching streams or whatever happened, but she was like, oh my gosh, Jason, you need to get back in here. And she was really the motivator that got me back into streaming and during this pandemic. And I stopped streaming in earnest long before the pandemic hit. And she really kind of got me back into being interested. I can't count how much art I've ruined because I didn't follow a little goes a long way. It's true with markers since most bleed. True. And that's why I've got the original drawing is behind here. I use it as a blotter sheet. And I go real slow, especially with this Copic. I'm used to this paper with Copic. And yeah, Devicat Cat's amazing. She's an amazing streamer. I think I've mentioned her before, Sarah, but she's a wonderful person. Very positive streams. It's funny when I'm going to boast on Devi a lot here, but there's times when she's like, oh, my day's been so bad, guys, but it's been so terrible. But, positive vibes. And the thing is, it's not that fake, almost what you might call toxic positivity, where it's like, you're pretending, you're gritting your teeth and you're smiling. Devi is the kind of person that goes, circumstances are bad, but we can also look at the good side of them. That's Devi, like a bunch. I remember when she ordered a chair and the chair didn't go through like she'd hoped. There was some customer service issues. And the funny part was she wouldn't even when they basically treated her like she was stupid, she wouldn't even badmouth them then. That's because she's a decent, awesome human being. So I've loved watching her streams and just her positivity, her creativity, just in general. Oh. And there's been times I've so wanted to raid Debbie, but the problem is she never streams when I'm getting off. I mean, she doesn't stream at this time. I forget she's also at a different time frame from me too. She's also running on that sweet Canadian time, so she's about an hour in front. Yeah, so that's gonna be good. So I'm looking at the colors and I'm assessing what I want to do next and what colors I want to use next. I think I want to use that BG10 a little bit on this top edge here. Is that the right one? Yeah, BG10. And the paper is also still very wet, so I have to proceed very slowly. Yeah, Devi's she kind of wound up being an accidental role model for me because I'm the kind of person that used to be, and I've grown a lot. I used to be the kind of person that if I had a reason to complain, I would. And Debbie's the kind of person that, if she has a reason to complain, she tries not to. And the world needs more of that. It really does. And that's why I just, I can't even, I kind of break up a little bit when I talk about it. Streaming for me was originally a way for me to do something on my days off. I have depression. And so what I would used to do is the streaming used to give me an excuse to get online and do things and not just sit at home and do nothing. So to be able to get back to doing this and making new friendships on here, it means a lot to me to be able to recapture that back. And I'm a little emotional right now, but it's true. It's almost 10 p.m., but who cares? Yeah, I usually stream between 9 and 11. It usually gives my wife a chance to watch This Is Us in Peace, which is on from 9 to 10 Eastern time. I will get a cup of coffee or tea and watch your stream. I might just do that. Yeah, do. I usually have a cup of coffee myself, but I wanted to keep things a little less manic. I tend to get really hyper when I have coffee, even though I'm always energetic before coffee, without coffee. Even before I ever had my first cup of coffee in life, I've always had this amount of energy. I've had people in Xbox say, are you on some kind of weird substance? I'm like, no, I've always had this energy. I've always been a very energetic person, very enthusiastic person. But I didn't want to have coffee and be running at 1,000 miles a minute, even though I kind of already am. It's just the way I am. Let's see. Glad you were here. I'm glad you're here too. I'm trying to go back over the old comments here. Why can't I close this? What are you doing? Can I make this? Oh, there we go. Get up 10 o'clock. I'm actually naturally hyper. I feel you. I talk quite a lot. I always get yeah, me too. But see, Proud Nerd Girl and I can go on for hours, and Matt and I can go on for hours. That's why Matt and I have a podcast, and why Sarah was able to convince me to come back to streaming, because we have a lot in common. And one thing is, even though we both work at a call center, which you think would be like, oh, well, that's naturally why you talk. No, I was like this before I worked in a call center, so there's that. Let's see. Oh, I think it might be this. No, I'm having a real trouble determining what color the robe might be. And honestly, I almost don't care if the robe color is wrong, because artistic license, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if the colors are a little off. They can be a little off because I choose them to be a little off. And honestly, that's part of being an artist, is determining what things might help balance it out better. You know, if something would look better if I did A instead of B, then we'll do A instead of B. Let's see. This is going to be, okay, the YG would be the better color, but it's busted. So we'll have to just use this one again. But I go to, let's see. I don't think I've ever handled working in a call center. Oh, it's tough. The only good thing I'll say about right now is even on the bad days, I won't say it's the only good thing, but the good thing about the bad days is I'm still at home. And that's another thing too. Like, everything happens for a reason. And I can't watch Twitch streams at work in the office. But at home, management's like, well, you know, as long as you behave yourself, you do your calls, who are we to tell you what you do in your own home? So they're completely chill about that. So I've got 2 or 3 channels open at once, lurking on my friends' channels and boosting their viewership. And I would never be able to do that from work. I would never be able to do that sort of thing from work. So to be able to just be, I don't want to say COVID's a gift. It isn't. It really isn't. It's a crap pile, let's be honest. But at the same time, to be gifted with an opportunity to be able to support my streaming friends. Yeah, still doing call center work. Rare Warrior is no longer looking. What did I miss? Oh, we were talking about art captures. I'm going back here a little bit. Art captures creativity and freedom. So yeah, exactly. It's make adjustments as needed. You know, you don't have to be a slave to the reference. It's good to use the reference as much as you want, but don't be a slave to it. I tend to be photocopier when I make stuff. So what did you miss? We'll kind of recap some stuff. Are you still working in a call center? Bear Warrior is Matt's losing its old name, which is why he said that. But we were talking about me working in a call center, and yeah, I still work in a call center, but basically it's from home. So there's a VPN, a virtual private network that I log into every morning, and then start taking calls. And the thing is, I love it, but there's only one caveat, and that's sometimes my dog likes to bark. And then as soon as they hear that, they go, "Oh, you're not at the office. You're not in the actual office, are you?" And I'm like, "Darn it, dog! Shh, Tucker, be quiet. You blew my cover. You blew it, kid." So let me I'm getting a little bit of a brighter color in there real quick. Just kind of make it pop a little bit. Here we go. And I'm going to feather this back some. I want to capture that hard edge, but I also want to feather it back some. Oh, also too, I haven't really been talking a lot about this, but also what you can do is with these Copics is you can take the colorless blender, which is this one right here, and if you wet the paper behind where you put the last color, it'll bleed and feather into it much like watercolor does. In fact, when I use these at work, sometimes my coworkers are like, "Are you painting with watercolor right now?" Because the feathering this is an alcohol-based marker. It will feather back into it almost like it did here. That was not intentional, but you know I'm gonna blend that out anyway. But the point is, it can do all kinds of neat little feathering effects, intentional or unintentional. And see, I'm gonna actually kill the feather just a little bit like that, so you're never gonna tell that there was a feathering effect there from me soaking the paper. But the blend there actually came out really nice, which is pretty good. Here we go. Little stippling sometimes, stippling's the little dots. There we go. Nice. And it looks, I'm trying to see if I keep forgetting that what I'm seeing on my monitor isn't what you guys see. You're seeing a much better version. My laptop is garbage. Jealous bird confirmed? What's that mean? Shouldn't let you talk to other people. No. Oh, wow, I missed everything. There's a whole chat going on here, guys. She only makes noises when I'm talking to somebody. Oh, the parakeet. Okay, I was like, who are you talking about, Mern? She only makes noise when I'm talking to somebody. That's true, though. I have a philosophy that pets just want attention. Like, they won't say anything until you have an important phone call. Then they'll go crazy. Like, why is mommy or daddy not paying attention to me? They're just they just want attention. Did you catch any of those movies? What movies? Any of those movies? She doesn't like talking to other people. Yeah, that's true. Jealous bird confirmed. I've seen a lot of those movies one time or another. I've got the names. What movie are you talking about, Matt? I've completely missed. A Very Red Fox. I can't imagine any call center that lets you draw or paint while taking calls. My brother got fired from a call center for playing solitaire on the computer while talking, despite that very commonplace in the office. That happens to me, too. You can't do anything during a phone call. Or at least if you do, it shouldn't be on the screen. So, like, if I'm sitting there, like, playing with a fidget cube or something, I'm fine. Because, obviously, the fidget cube... that's going to be the inner part of the ear, guys. E93. Because this ear here it's getting a very warm glow from the sun behind it. So, anywho, as long as it's not on my screen, like I can play solitaire in between phone calls. And luckily it's not too busy at my job. Thank goodness. RV95, there's the one I wanted. So I can do things in between the phone calls as long as it's not on the screen during a phone call. And I get that because I'm not there to play games. I'm there to do work. But when I'm drawing, it's totally fine. As long as, like I said, if the phone rings, I'm picking it up. That's fine. If in between the rings, I can do whatever I want. Then came you was the one we talked about Sunday. Then came you. Was that a movie or a TV show? We were talking a lot about the movies the other night. Oh, that's right. You guys were having a regular chat-a-thon in Matt's channel when I forgot you were broadcasting. I saw your broadcasting and said in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, let me pull that up. And then my brain went, oh, this other thing over here. And then I didn't pull up your stream. And then I remembered, oh, yeah, he's streaming. And I pulled it up. And apparently, before I got there, y'all had this big old conversation that I missed out on. And I feel so sad about that. Because if I've known anything about Proud Nerd Girl, which I know a lot about her, one thing I do know is that she loves her movies. And if you watch her play Fortnite, which I hope you'll be streaming again soon, Tangent. But when she watch her play games, she'll be like, if something happens, she'll be like, oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Or my favorite one, seriously, Clark? She'll do that one from Christmas Vacation. So almost everything in her stream is a quote of something else or another. Man, this paper is wanting to wrinkle so bad in this. I'll have to take it slow in areas that got soaked with the marker. It's okay, there's plenty of areas to draw, so it's not like I have to worry about it too much. So we're just going to champ our way through and see how much we can get done tonight. And then probably I'll continue this Friday night, guys. Friday night, same time, 9 p.m. If whatever I don't get done, I'll try to get done that day. I'm trying to get this done, but there's no rush. It's not like this needs to be done. It just needs to be filmed completely from beginning to end. E2? I think E2 would be a good transition color, right? That's really bright, though. Also, another reason for doing these little test swatches is because the colors will look different wet than dry. Has anyone seen the Snyder Cut trailer? It looks amazing. It looks so much... people were sharing memes of it. Like, they were like, look at how much... Like, it was like, you know... They were showing like low class stuff and higher class stuff. Like, look at the difference. It's like comparing this to that. And I'm like, you're pretty much right. Like, say what you might about Snyder sometimes. Like, the Watchmen movie was, it looks so amazing. I'm going to go on a little bit of a diatribe here. The Watchmen movie was a little excessive in many ways. I don't think the Watchmen movie was horrible. I do think it was unnecessary in the fact that he filmed the plot of the book, but he didn't capture the essence of what made Watchmen, the graphic novel, such an important piece of literature. But it's impossible to capture a spirit of a piece of literature in a movie. So I think he did as best as he could do. But again, making Watchmen was kind of a thankless task. To be fair. And that's not to slam it, because like I said, I love the graphic novel Watchmen so much. But yeah, the Snyder trailer is amazing. Snyder can do some good things with storytelling. I will say he uses slow-mo excessively much. I will say that. The other color needs here. Yeah, they're here. No, they're not. They're in here. Here we go. But again, that's not to badmouth him. I think he does some wonderful things, and I think he's been a great person to tell stories in comics, which we've kind of needed I want to say a mouthpiece, but kind of like that. E00s. The E00s tend to be a little bit warmer than the yellow reds I put on here a second ago. So I think Snyder does some great things for movies, even if they're kind of cliche. Mern, you have a good night. Thanks for dropping in here. Hopefully I can see you again soon, and hopefully you'll be able to continue watching on Friday, when I hopefully will have a lot further along. Unfortunately, it's kind of getting really wrinkly on this paper, probably because it's so wet in the air. But Mern, you have a great night. Yeah, definitely drop in. I'm always here to chat when I can, even with the speed paint being filmed. I'll still find a way to talk to you guys. So I appreciate you coming in. Like I said, thank you for coming in with the Devicat stream. She's amazing. And I hope you have a great night. 95. No, it's 85. My bad, guys. It's RV85. I think this might be too pink. It is. That is too pink for my purposes. I will mark it and put it back where I found it. RV, red, no, R85, right there by the 81. There we go. I'm needing more orange reds, but pale orange reds. R85. It's a little wrinkly. It'll probably get less wrinkly as it dries. It looks like it already is. I think it started on some of his face now, because I can get a little bit. I'm sorry I keep rotating it, so. I'm curious about Watchmen as a piece of literature. I suppose I just have to read to understand. Watchmen is a really good piece of literature. I will tell you a little bit about the backstory as I progress with Baby Yoda here. Watchmen, basically Watchmen was created. I don't know how much you know about the plot of Watchmen, but basically, the way Watchmen came into being was Alan Moore, the legendary writer. DC had just bought a line of comics called Carlton Comics, and it was a big deal for DC. They were proud of obtaining this line of comics, and now they can incorporate, I think it was The Question and a handful of other major I think the Atom was part of that too. So a lot of really big name characters were all of a sudden DC characters because they bought them out. And so DC was like, yes, we got these brand new characters. Let's see if we can incorporate them into our canon of folks. So they said, great. Well, Alan Moore was like, I'd love to start working with these characters. And so they said, great. Alan Moore, like I said, was a really well-respected writer. He'd written V for Vendetta for a very little-known comic company. I don't know if it was even finished at that point. But, I mean, he was a very well-known writer. So they're like, okay, great. That'd be fantastic. And he's like, okay, first of all, this character dies. Like, wait. And DC was like, wait a second. What? This character dies? We just bought them, Mr. Moore. Why are you doing killing off one character that we just literally paid money for? And so they said no go. They weren't going to have, buy into these characters and then immediately have Alan Moore kill one off. So he had the brilliant idea to instead make characters in a similar vein to those in the Carlton comics. So they could do this. He could do the story he wanted to do without killing off characters. So they were original characters. And he based them off of, I don't want to say twisted versions, but darker versions of the Carlton comics originals. R20? Yeah, let's try R11, because I think that one's a little bit more pink or orangey. This is R11. Yeah, that's the perfect color. R11. See, because this ear here is getting caught in the sunlight, and the sun's coming through it, so it's very warm. That's why the reds here are so different. This one's very pale, because the sun isn't coming directly through it. But the sun is coming through this other one, because the ears are very thin membrane. So I'm trying to get to the brush tip. That's why I kept rotating the marker. I thought I had the brush tip handy, and I didn't. So it's a very bright color. As compared to how pale this one is, because this one's in the shadow of the baby carriage. But anyway, it was all original characters in Watchmen, nothing pre-existing, and that's part of the reason what happened with the literature part of it was that most books, because they were pre-existing things like Batman or The Flash, they had pre-existing fan bases with people asking questions about them. No one was asking questions about Watchmen. They didn't exist before. So they had pages that essentially were nothing. They had pages to fill, and they didn't know how they were going to fill them. So Alan Moore says, how about this? How about I write like a short story in the same universe as Watchmen to fill that space? So they said, sure. So what they did was he took one of the secondary characters and wrote pages from his biography under the hood. And so that's what he did. He basically wrote pages. So the first two chapters of the first two issues of Watchmen featured, fake pages of this made-up biography, just straight up like prose written, like actual pages out of a biography. So not comic panels. There's some illustrations that were meant to look like photographs of the time, but much like somebody had just ripped, a couple pages of a biography and glued it into the actual comic book. So as Watchmen progressed, it became a tradition throughout the 12 issues to put in the I'm going to take this really slow, guys. This is really wet. This paper is wrinkling so fast, and it's like, oh, proceed with care, ladies and gentlemen. But I can move around enough that we can keep working on this throughout the evening. But, so it started off with him just doing a couple pages just to fill to fill out a novel that didn't have enough pages for the comic. And what happened was, it wound up being a tradition that every issue would have some sort of literature supplement to the actual story of the graphic novel. I'm trying to stay really careful about what color I want to put here. That's why I'm looking at my colors. I'm like, what color would go there? I need a pale. Oh, this might be the ticket right here. Either E4 or E70. E means earth tones. E70. E70. Oh, that's going to be the ticket, I think, right there. E70. Oh, I just missed that corner. Thank goodness. That's a very brown color. E04. So it's really cool because you have this this really interesting situation with I say situation a lot, guys, sorry. I've noticed that. But you have these articles, reviews, stories that were made up by the author of Watchmen, Alan Moore, but meant to be, continuing the universe of Watchmen beyond the comic panels. So as such, you can't film that successfully. You can't just be like, and here's some pages of a biography that don't fit. And to be fair, Zack Snyder did try to film that by making an under the hood documentary in the style of, a documentary film, much like how the original graphic novel incorporated it as though it was an actual biography. But again, there's only so much you can do without it seeming like a bunch of stuff stuck together. So Watchmen wound up being, because there's actually a comic inside of Watchmen too. It's called Tales of the Black Freighter. It's a pirate comic. And his whole idea was, in a world where superheroes are real, why would we have superhero comics? We wouldn't. So he thought, okay, so how about we have a pirate comic? So this kid in the Watchmen is reading a pirate comic, which is also kind of a commentary on what's going on in the story as well. So you got all these elements of Watchmen kind of going on. You've got under the hood for a couple episodes. You have the Tales of the Black Freighter tucked away in issues, and all that time you've got the regular story of Watchmen moving around. So it's so much going on to sort of capture all those different elements that you just see at any turn of a page in the actual graphic novel. It's impossible to do. It's a thankless job. It's impossible to do. But again, did he do a poor job with Watchmen? No. It's just you can't film a book like that. Not very easily anyway. I think this is a bit too gray for my purpose. We'll see. It's not bad though. Try and put these nails in real quick because that's going to give us the geography of where the fingers go. So I want to make sure I don't lose that. And I need a pale green. YG63 might be the ticket. 91. Oh, it's YG91. It's a little too... Yeah, we're not going to use that one. I don't want to muddy the colors too much. It's going to be muddy enough with all these minty greens. And actually, erase that part out. I can see his ear tip goes a little bit further out than my sketch originally shows. And we need the YG90. That's the one that's going to go dry, guys, is YG90. I have it on this side because this color is going to be the one that's going to be the workhorse. It's going to be the one that's going to be, it's like Baby Yoda skin. So we're going to do this here, like that. And then minty green here. Minty green. And I'll feather that down some. Sorry if my hand's covering a lot of the drawing I'm working on. And like I said, if I keep bouncing around like this, I can keep the paper from getting too saturated and buckling like it's been doing. Just to be very, very, very careful. But again, I can do it. I'm not worried about doing the... It's certainly possible. I'm kind of glad my face isn't on camera today because I'm kind of squinting a lot. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to be making these horrible faces on camera while y'all are watching. Like, what is going on? As I squint at the camera, like, what is this thing? Okay, I'm getting a little too carried away with erasing out so many of the lines. So let me grab my YG1. Just use this as kind of a base color to kind of indicate where the basics of the lines are. I was way off with these lines too. I'm not so concerned with this because again, it's kind of set dressing for Baby Yoda. The carriage is important. I think everybody that's barely seen it has seen the carriage. The little cradle part of it. I think I mean, it became iconic. I don't know if they actually knew how iconic it was going to be. You know, people see that thing floating and, you know, you expect to see Baby Yoda in that little egg. I need to watch that movie now after all that. After that, it's going to be... Oh, man, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, because apparently, going back to the Snyder Cut, because he directed Watchmen. Like I said, be careful about Watchmen, though. Watchmen does have some adult moments. And one of the adult moments in the graphic novel was hinted at and not shown. And they show it blow for blow in the thing. It was completely unnecessary to show it in the movie. Because in the graphic novel, you knew that, okay, they hooked up. We got it. I mean, there was no mistaking it. It was like, there was no inference there that you didn't get. You understood completely they hooked up. But they didn't show it in the graphic novel. And they show it in the movie. And I'm like, this is awkward. Because it literally is the whole, you know, you don't see anything. The camera just pans away. In the comic, the camera pans away. Which makes no sense because comics don't have moving pictures. But you get the idea. So I was like, ooh. So, and they did some things that were interesting in the graphic novel, that they simplified some characters and reduced some stuff down. I'm looking for my cool gray one because I need to start getting some cool grays in the shadows. But again, I think it was I think there was some successful things about Watchmen, but I think, you know, showing a graphic scene like that when in the graphic novel it was never shown graphically, pardon the pun, was kind of a bit, like I said, to me it was excessive. It was like, didn't need that. You can skip that scene. Once you see them kind of like, you know, you see the two superheroes kind of like making eyes at each other, you'll be like, okay, I think I know what's going to happen here. You can, if you want to skip that scene, you're not going to miss anything. And you'll be like, oh, okay, yep, they're hooking up, just like I thought. I mean, the thing is, normally I'm like, I don't like gratuitous scenes in stories like that, but the thing is, it fits the storyline. Like, it's not just, oh, and they hooked up. There was a purpose in the story why that was important. Yeah, it was kind of weird, though, wasn't it, though? I liked what they did, all positive things talking about Watchmen. I did like how they portrayed Rorschach, and also Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan. Oh, I have to get up at 5:30 tomorrow, so I'll lurk until the middle of the night. Oh, thanks. I'll probably raid somebody after this, because I like paying it forward, so I might raid, depending who's on. There's 2 artists I love and adore that usually stream this late at night, so I'll probably raid one of them, too. So you might see one of them on. I try to find people that are going to be gentle and nice and calm at the end of a stream. I don't want folks to be like, you know, if they did lurk, wake up at 2:30 in the morning, there's somebody screaming expletives because they're losing a video game. I don't want that for my followers. I don't mind watching that at 2:30 in the morning, but you may not take too kindly to opening up your phone or, you know, rolling over and hearing that being, you know, a string of that going on. So I wouldn't do that to my folks. It might be, there's an Australian artist that I love. We've rated her before. And then there's another one I just found. He's super awesome. And he was, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, he's going in the future raid list. But yeah, good night, proud murder girl. Yeah, that scene that was interesting. But like I said, it's inferred in the graphic novel, but not shown. But the way that Dr. Manhattan was portrayed, like I didn't care for him in the book. Seeing it on the big screen, and I mean Dr. Manhattan, seeing how he was portrayed, and Billy Crudup, I know a lot of it was CGI and motion capture and what have you, but I feel like his performance as Dr. Manhattan was correct. You felt his kind of blasé, that's the way it is, attitude. You could feel that, and you understood it, because, I mean, here's a man who lost his humanity, and he's basically almost being turned into a weapon for America. And he's like, I'm this thing now. I'm not even a person anymore. I'm this thing. And you want me to be this gaudy weapon. And he does kind of play the part for a while. But then he's like, yeah, no more. I'm no longer going to be your gross weapon of mass destruction to end all wars. Good luck with that. Just does his own thing. And the thing was, I know a lot of folks have said, why, if he exists, why was Kennedy assassinated? And I don't know, but there was a really cool graphic novel series about Dr. Manhattan that came out. I think it was 4 issues that came out. And they're beautiful. I don't even know where they are anymore. I have them somewhere buried in my comic collection, I'm sure. And it kind of goes through exactly what I thought was going on behind the scenes. Was it a necessary comic? The plot of it, I'm like, yep, that's what I thought happened. Yep. And so I thought it was kind of unnecessary, but I know some folks were like, but why though? But why? Why wouldn't Dr. Manhattan stop something like that? So when I finally saw it in the book, I'm like, that's exactly what I thought happened. So, it wasn't necessary, but I thought it was for folks that needed an explanation, couldn't see that explanation. It kind of made sense for that. But it was a good run, and the only reason I collected it was because the interior art was by Adam Hughes, a major inspiration for me. Adam Hughes. His fan pages have been doing a lot more posts lately, and I've been like, yay, I love it. I'm probably going to take this line out here and put in some cool grays, just so I can delineate some of the, I need my not WC, I need my C1. Where did I put C1? There it is over here. I've got so many markers on here, you can see. You can see how many markers are just scattered about. I don't keep a tight rein on these things, honestly. So sometimes things get out of control. I'm also going to use this C to start delineating some of the wrinkles. And it might be hard to see. You can still see it, though. I also have to remember this monitor. The monitor I use to watch this stream is, like I said, my laptop monitor, and not a good one. So I have to remember you guys are seeing a much better quality than I'm seeing. But I always like to be mindful, because you guys aren't here to watch, watch a screen that's not actually showing art. I want to make sure it's portraying the art decently. Because when I watch a streamer, I want to see what they're working on. So that's why I like to keep working if I can. And also react to chat, I don't want to be so into what I'm doing that I'm not paying attention to you guys. I'm here to talk to you guys. If you guys got questions, definitely fire them away. I'm glad to answer any questions you might have. I may not have an answer. I may not have a good answer, but I'll try my best. And I love talking nerdy stuff all the time. It makes me think of that. I love it when you talk nerdy to me. That old cliche, that old bit. To quote the movie Mank, all that bother. I'm not just talking about the Depression. All that bother. I think the cool gray was actually a good choice for that. I just showed my wife that movie, Mank, about Herman Mankiewicz. Oh my gosh. I forgot. I mean, I knew how good it was. I've forgotten how good it was. And when she watched it, she was like, this is really a good movie. I'm like, thank you for watching it with me, because it's a little slower. It's a black and white movie. It's about 2 hours 15. It's a very good movie, though, talking about how... Oh, snap. Oh, no. What happened to my camera? Logitech, where are you? See, as I talk about that, this is what happens. Configure video. Camera control. Why are you at Focus 250? No. We've talked about this before, Logitech. It's 54. We're going to scale that back to 54. Boink. Here we go. There you go. 57. Good. See? There we go. How sharp is the resolution? Good. Good, good, good. I was trying to blow on it. I was like, I was nowhere near blowing on it, guys. I was trying to blow away some of the loose eraser bits, and it was nowhere near any of that, so. I'll zoom a little bit on the child's face. I like the name, The Child. I always thought that was such a great episode name, The Child. I'll also say, and when it comes to like Marvel, Disney type stuff, I will say that WandaVision has some of the best titles in the business. No arguments about that. It's the truth. WandaVision's got some of the best, episode titles in the industry. I still haven't caught up on all of Mandalorian. I haven't either. Hey, Drooly. I know it's not Drooly. It's Dangerously Cute, but it's also Callie. So, hi, Callie. How's it going? What you guys working on? What you guys doing? I haven't caught up on all of Mandalorian. There will be no spoilers here. This is a spoiler-free zone. I will not spoil anything for anybody. I have not completed season 1 of Mandalorian. I know it's been out for forever. I have not had Disney Plus for forever. And I started watching it. I enjoyed it, but it was different than I expected. I expected it to be very dialogue-driven, and it's not. It's very visually driven. So I didn't have a chance to actually watch the screen, so I missed a lot of things. So I'm having to go back and rewatch when I have an opportunity, which I have not yet. I will make time. So I've already had parts of season 2 already spoiled for me before I even got into season 2. I'm missing my one gray one. No, there it is. Kind of was disappointing when I opened up social media and it's just like, surprise, here's some stuff from the new episode that you didn't ask to see. I'm like, no, why did you do that to me? There we go. This one gray's a nice little foil to some of the other colors. I've seen half of season 1 of Mandalorian, and then I didn't watch anything on my PC besides Twitch. Cup of coffee. I love that little kitty cat. That's from Debbie, isn't it? That's one of her emotes. She's got cute emotes. I have dropped her emotes so many places. Like, I mean, ridiculous amounts of places. Her emotes, like I said, are cute. My favorite one is the hug emote. Take a brief break, rest my eyes. I mean, this video is going to be sped up anyway. When I'm actually present this, it's going to be sped up so fast that these little pauses won't be seen. I can't find my mouse pointer. But my favorite Debbie emote is, I think, yeah. Can I get through it? Oh, channel emotes. My emotes. Here we go. Oh, that's right. My subscription to Debbie, I think, slipped. Oh, no. That's right. I don't have it right now. I just saw it expired, and I meant to do something about that, and I didn't. Oh, I forgot about that. Sad times. Sad times. But yeah, like I said, it's one of those things. It's like, what's the name of that? Hamilton. Hamilton's been in our queue since the minute we got Disney Plus. Guess what my wife still haven't watched? It starts with H and ends with Hamilton. Yeah, it wasn't. It's one of those things. I'll get to it. It's the hardest thing in the world to find is one of those round to-its. You can find the square ones, but the round ones, getting around to it's really hard. There's C2. I want C1 though. Problem with having so many markers on it is I can't find the one I want. There we go. One thing I like about this too is that there's so much cool gray at this end of it. I'm just putting some stippled parts on it, and actually there's a lot more gray here than there is green. So if I get really heavy with the gray there, that's fine. But the other part is, as it gets to the ends, it has a lot more of the warm gray in it, which is crazy. But that's, you kind of have to start looking at the temperature things and go, oh, okay, that's this. There's where this goes. That's where that goes. And ta-da, there we go. All right, so I need C3, I think, for the bottom side of this. Yeah, C3 is getting brought the right color here. Okay, So, yeah, I'm not, again, spoiler-free zone here. I had this recent episode of WandaVision kind of ruined for me because somebody posted a review, not a friend, a website I didn't even follow, had posted a review of the newest episode and shared a spoiler-ridden photo. So I was very disappointed to see that. And I'm just like, guys, I shouldn't have to avoid social media because a company cannot use a very unspoilerific photo to talk about the new episode. Just, you know what you do? Just use an image from last week's episode or a generic shot. You know, don't share, you know, an image of the newest episode before people have seen it. I mean, they don't know who's seen it and who hasn't, but I don't know. I've never been a fan of just like getting out there and just like, boom, here's stuff that you haven't maybe not seen before. I finally watched episode 6 of WandaVision. I am so excited for that show. Like, I'll be honest, and I've talked about this with Matt before. They broke the cardinal rule of writing, which is to not do a slow burn. And episode 1 was a slow burn. And it was so boring. But that's why they gave you 2 episodes. Because they knew episode 1 was just a little bit of world building and a ton of sitcom. So what they did was sorry about that. Rip headphone user, guys. That's too bright. We're not going to use that. Too bright, too purple. So what they did was they gave us 2 episodes so that it wouldn't feel like a slow burn. This is BVO. That has point and purpose. BVOO. The other one was BVO2, wasn't it? Good. So I'm going to throw some of this. The amount of time it took me to research this color and how much you can actually see of it is going to be laughable. Because you're not going to see that much of it. But a little bit of lavender never hurt anybody thrown into random places. And actually, the lids of his eyes. Where's my eraser? Here we go. To quote Tracer. There we go. Let's turn that down so we can take a good look at it. Yeah, there's definitely warm. There's definitely a little bit of violet on the top side of his eyelids. So we're going to zip that in there too. Add some warmth because the lavender, because lavender consists of a little bit of red, it reads warmer than which is crazy because if you're looking, you actually see how much. Let me see if I can zoom in on that real quick. Oh, no, let me not do that. Actually, forgive me. I was about to zoom in on it. I'm like, wait a second, that throws off my speed drawing. Let me not do that. I'm so tempted to use the typical camera tricks I use in my streams, guys. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can cut the image, cut the film there and resume. But let me make this as simple as possible right now, Let's not add unnecessary complications. All right, let me get to the, was it C0? Surely it's in there. Here we go. I'm gonna start using this to sculpt out some of the wrinkles here. But yeah, this will always be a spoiler-free zone, guys. BRB again. Okay, Matt, we'll see you in a bit when you come back. I know it won't be long, but I know you gotta do some things. So, we're gonna grab that right there. Do this. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a little too curvy. I can correct that though, especially while it's still wet. I can come back in here with. The funniest part about watching the speed painting, I realize, is that my desk is going to become even more and more crowded with markers. It's going to start off with like a handful of like 10, and it's going to be like 50 markers by the time I'm done. And people watching this on YouTube, when I finally post it and edit it and everything, they're going to be like, wow, you can see watch his desk get filled with markers. And y'all going to be here, watching it real time. You're going to know what happened. Start clearing some of these off already. Funny, the ones I'm using more often are over on this side. Start pulling some of the herd and put them up in places where I can still see the colors, but not really, I need to take this down so I can actually see what I'm working on here. Got so much line art in front of my face, I gotta take it, simplify it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So I think I'm really back to the BG90. Here we go. I'll probably stream till roughly about 10 o'clock. I mean, sorry, midnight. Usually push to 11 o'clock, but I mean till 11 o'clock and try to wrap it up. But I'm like, no, I want to get a lot more done on this than that. Unless the paper, the wet paper holds me back. Then I'll be like, you know what, time to jump off. Because I'm not going to sit here doing nothing while the paper dries. Again, that's why I'm kind of jumping around a lot. So that we can still keep working. The other color I want is this one. Here we go. Usually have a little brush to take care of that, but I don't have that handy. Let's do a little bit of light brushing of this color. And try on the stuff again. Forgive me if I'm going silent a little bit. It's also getting to be the wind down time of the evening as well, but it's also a little bit of concentration, just a little bit of one. Again, don't ever feel bad about asking a question if I'm in concentration mode. Actually, I probably will welcome the break from all that concentrating. You probably smell my hair burning. So, this is what I call the ugly stage. And this is where I think a lot of artists quit. They'll look at this where it is now and they're like, ugh, there's just dashes of random color on here. Yuck. And then they'll quit because they'll think that they did something wrong. And the truth is they haven't done anything wrong. They just haven't got past the ugly stage. Every drawing has it. I mean, every car, you think about it, every car manufacturer's got to have an ugly stage with the cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a part where it's just parts, loose parts sitting there on the construction line. And does it look like much? No, it just looks like a pile of metal parts that are disconnected and need to be connected to something and haven't been connected to something. And that can be mighty discouraging. But that's why I like streaming this stuff, because I want you guys to see your drawing is probably not as bad as you think it is. It's probably right on track. But the thing is, this is the stage that's hardest to visualize what's going to happen with the drawing, the actual final drawing. So when people get to this stage, they get very discouraged and they just say, oh, it's garbage, yuck. I'm not really a good artist, and they quit. But the thing is, every drawing goes through this stage. At least mine do, and I think probably most people's do. But mine always go through, like I said, this stage. I call it the ugly stage. It's where it's not really good to look at. I mean, you can kind of see Baby Yoda coming out there, can't you guys? But it's still not a very flattering look at the final image. You know, just around, and it's starting to come together. And again, it's one of those things that the more you poke at it, the more it comes together. As long as you don't nitpick. Like, as long as you keep working to improving it. I think what happens is we start feeling self-conscious, feeling it's not going to work out, and you start nitpicking at it. Actually, that's more the yellow-green, so let me swap to that. I can see the yellow-green coming through there. It's definitely more yellow-green. It's kind of the material they use to make the puppet. You can kind of see it, which is cool. And again, anything I can heighten up with a little bit of the... Looking for my C1, guys. C0 should work, but I'm looking for C. Clear a violet out of here I don't need right now. Keep that handy. Like I said, 90% of this speed painting is going to be me organizing my colors. If you've ever seen me work on Photoshop stuff, I keep everything in nice, neat order, layers. If you don't, you will be regretting that mistake. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Jason, what's your what you think about me doing a dragon in Fabergé eggs? I need a little bit more clarification, but I heard the word Fabergé and I was already intrigued. So, what do you mean dragon Fabergé eggs? You mean like do a dragon-sized egg, but like in a Fabergé style? Because that sounds interesting. I don't even know how that would be executed, but then again, I'm not much of a sculptor, so that's probably why I'm not seeing it. Although you seem to take to it pretty naturally. Yours truly doesn't really do sculpture very much. I'm not very good at it. It's a good reason to practice, but I'm also like, sometimes I know when a battle's been lost. Sometimes I'm just like, no, sculpture, you win this round. Make one out of clay, both small and large. I don't know what you're trying to do exactly, but it sounds interesting. Oh, did I tell you? I found this random stream that he does clock repairs, like watch repairs. And I was like, this exists on Twitch? He's a clock, I don't want to say he's a watchmaker, but he works with clocks. What he does is when his day is done with his clock, his actual jewelry shop, he closes shop and he starts streaming on Twitch repairing watches. He's got all these micro cameras to look into the camera's guts. The watch. Yes, I forget his name. If I find him online one time, I'll text him to you. He was on pretty early in the morning because you have to remember he's in California. I think he's in California. So he only comes online when he's done with his day of repairs at his shop. So you have to remember, here's this guy streaming after he's done with work. You know, it's like, okay, here's this, look at this beautiful watch. And he showed the insides of the watch. And the cool thing was, I'm going to start getting some of the background colors in again. Oh, I didn't put the curvature in here. I'm going to roughly eyeball it here. It's roughly from about there, right? Right? That's the thing. Yeah, we're going to do like that. Close enough's close enough. You won't know the difference. I mean, honestly, nobody's going to say, oh, that curvature is slightly wrong with that baby carriage. Again, nobody's going to look at, no, it's slightly in the wrong place. No one's buying this for the, I'm not going to sell the original, mind you. But if I do make prints of this, no one's going to say, oh, the curvature of the baby carriage is completely off. I'm not buying that. It's important that it doesn't look terrible, but at the same time, it's not the most important function of that. All right, let's get this kind of colored in here. I'm eager to start getting a lot of the whites, because right now it looks like I haven't drawn half of it, but it's because a lot of the lights are still, paper white. And then, like I said, at the very end stages, I'm going to take some gouache on white. I mean, gouache is white paint, I'm sorry. On the paper and just add in the hairs. So a lot of the whiskers and hairs and stuff will come back. So that's kind of the whole goal, is to, if I can get this, where it's mostly covered up, and then when you're done, like I said, you come back with the white gouache and pick out some hairs and things. And this can make that top edge look like it's in the sparkling white of the sun. This marker might need a refill. It's okay, one thing at a time, It's not a pressing need if it dries out, because it gets darker, I think. So I'm going to be covering this up with other stuff. I do want a fairly even application of the marker, though. But you see it's starting to get dried out. See those streaks? I don't know if you can see it really well, but those streaks means it's time for a refill. If I've got the refill handy, I'll do it real quick on stream. It's going to be helpful for some dry brush effects, but I don't have any need for dry brush effects right now. But see, you can already see how that's starting to make, because the most saturated color right now is the ear and here. You can see how that kind of creates a glow of the sun coming through. What type of paper do you use? This is Strathmore Drawing. It's literally called drawing paper. Looks exactly like that. Strathmore Drawing. I found it has a very good effect for Copics. That's actually the same one I used for my drawing I showed earlier. The Jack Sparrow's on this, on a different, the same paper. And all my drawings that I've done with Copic that I've enjoyed the paper surface has been on this. I've tried Bristol. Bristol board is not good for it. I think it's the ply. They basically, Bristol board's like, I think too hard, hot pressed, basically cardboard sheets, heavy paper glued together. So it makes good support for like dry media, but it's wet I pulled the mic cord. Yeah, I pulled the mic cord, guys. Sorry. I oops the mic cord. My leg got wrapped around it, and when it popped out. So let me see if I can get my iTunes back on, so I can get the playlist back started. No, it's not you. It's definitely I pulled the cord. My leg got wrapped around it, so I was like, oh, that's terrible. Let's see what we got here. Where's my pointer? There we go. There we go. Hopefully, can you all hear me now? If anyone can hear me in the chat, please send me a quick message on here. Can you guys hear me now? And I can pull up my stream and check it out, but okay, good. Okay, I was slow in typing because I did one-handed typing. But anyhow, like I said, these little things will be little minor blips in the stream, so you won't really see that very much in the final edit. All right, let me look at this real quick. Oh, I need to do one more thing. Oh, no, I did it right. Never mind, I did it right. I did it right, didn't I? Yeah, I did it right. Yeah. I could maybe extend it up a little bit more. There we go. It's a little bit better. So let me see if I got the refill for the one handy. That's 3. That's 3. I've got a big old bag of refills somewhere, and I might actually have the smaller refill here handy. Let me see. 00. 76. I don't see the refill. I probably have a refill for Copic 1. I probably don't have it handy, and I'm not going to go get it. So let's just go ahead and move on to Copic 2, especially since it's the darker part of the reference anyway. There's no reason to worry about 1. So just need to find Copic W2 for Warm Gray 2, which I have got to put these markers back where they belong. Because I had it handy, didn't I? I had it out, didn't I? Yeah, here it is. It was in the Jack Sparrow bundle. So I can resume. Push this back so I can stop getting so much shadow on there. Swap to the chisel tip. Okay, good. Thanks, guys. I can check my own stream, but the problem is if I do that, it can cause an echo, and it's just, it won't be fun. It'll be bad news for everybody. Can you hear music at least too, guys? You should hear the same playlist I was playing before. So it should be still on there. Should be on there just as well. Speaking of what, you don't hear music. You don't hear music at all. Oh, poo. Let me try switching to the... No, shouldn't switch. Dang it. Is there a way to do this where I can restart this? Have you not heard music the whole time? Oh, no. I mean, I want there to be music because there's supposed to be music. Audio output capture. You did earlier. Okay, let me try this. Oh, can I? It could be you. It could be me. It probably isn't you. I'm going to try. I'm actually going to create a feedback loop here for a second. So let me mute real quick. I'm going to unmute real quick. I smelled this really weird chemical, and I just realized it's the alcohol of the markers. I usually have a very poor sense of smell. I can smell the very pungent smell of what smells like rubbing alcohol. It's coming off of the paper, the markers. It's coming from the paper, and the scent's coming from the markers. Let me mute real quick so I don't have a feedback loop. Matt, you're absolutely right. It is gone. It is tanked. I closed and reopened that. I'm not seeing anything from the desktop audio. It definitely is not that. Can I click on that? Can I reset? Well, let me reset properties. Default use device and poof. Let me do audio. Can I do an audio capture device? Audio output capture. Can I do that for iTunes? Okay. Device default. How do you do an audio source? I thought there was a way to do an audio output capture. No. Yeah, output capture. That's right. Speakers. You can hear it? Okay, never mind. You can hear music. Maybe I just didn't have my stream loud enough. I don't know. Maybe it was between songs. Discard. Okay, never mind. False alarm. Okay, cool. Yeah, I did the camera refocus now. Good. We're at W2, that's right. We're filling in all this background stuff. Okay, there's the edge right there. Thanks for letting me know, guys, because I can check this stuff, but not without pausing the stream for too long, and not without causing possibly a feedback loop, which is annoying. It's bad for all streamers. The music is actually quite loud. Is it too loud? If it's too loud, let me know, because I can also scale that back. Because I might need to adjust my sounds again. Let me see here. I'm talking very loaded. Oh, that's the other way. There we go. I'm talking very quietly today, too. One, my wife needs to sleep. She's had a bad migraine all day. Other reason is, I just feel like it. I feel like today's the cozy stream. Probably, like I said, that probably carries over from the fact that Debbie waited. I love it. It was so funny. I think I've said this story before in stream. Debbie's not one to be very, very bold or vulgar in her channel. She really isn't. Somebody excited her, and I was watching. First time my wife had ever seen me watch Debbie Cat, because usually Debbie's on when I'm at work. So she was doing the evening stream much like she was doing today, and she saw this art. She designed an original character, and somebody had drawn a piece that looked like it came out of Final Fantasy based on her original character. So when she saw it, she just lost control of her tongue, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And she used all kinds of words, and she was like. And I looked at my wife and said, she doesn't normally talk like this. She's just really excited. The very next moment, Debbie goes, it's a bit loud for me. I can't hear you talking over it. Oh, okay. Let me scale that back. Oh, it's because I just... There we go. It's because I had it too high. How about now, guys? When I was trying to figure out what was going wrong, I put it up too high. Always, never be afraid in my channel. Let me know if a level's too loud. Because my wife is very sensitive to sound, and I can be sensitive sometimes too. So if it's overwhelming, I want to know so I can adjust it. I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable. Because it can be very overwhelming to have a channel that has such loud audio. So I try not to be that channel for folks. I love music. I actually, besides an art degree, I have a degree in music composition. And that's another thing I could talk about all day is music theory. Really good. I had to soften up that edge a bit. It was a little bit harsh. But one thing I know is you have to be very careful about your exposure to what kind of sounds. Okay, yeah, no worries. No worries at all, a very red fox. And I'm curious now, while I'm working on more things, how did you get the name of Curious Red Fox? I'm very interested in that. Also, too, I'm not liking this violet. I'm going to probably try to get a lot of that scaled back. I'm going to use the colorless blender is actually a good eraser as well as it is a blender. It can lift color out, so I didn't like how strong that violet was. So I'm going to go back and kind of erase some of it out. But yeah, I'm curious how you got the name Very Red Fox. My friend loves foxes. And red foxes are actually, out of all the foxes, probably my favorite one to see. I should probably paint one sometime too. I have a list of animals I wouldn't mind painting. One of my favorites is the wood duck, the Drake wood duck, the male, because they're just such beautiful animals. I love red foxes. They're my favorite animal. It's a popular name, so I slapped an adjective onto it. That makes great sense. I'm lucky enough with my last name that I'm not, like, if I use my last name for stuff, I'm not in any kind of trouble. Like, the problem is, like, the Enos name is, from what basically, the Enoses have a tendency to have girls. I am one of of all the grandchildren in our family, I am the only grandson. All the rest are granddaughters. So there's a tendency in the Enos gene to have more girls than boys. So the name marries out. So there's not many of us about. Which is kind of a sad thing, but it's true. I mean, I don't live in a huge city, but I'm kind of living in a place where, like, if I hear the name Enos, I know it has to be me or my wife, because there's no others about. Like, there really isn't. My dad, maybe. We don't move in the same circles, but my dad could be crop up. But honestly, at the end of the day, if I hear the name Enos, it has to be me in my area, because there's not many of us about. I thought it might be a nod, Todd. No, it might be a nod to the comedian. Oh, Red Fox, the comedian. Right. You big dummy. That's REDDFOXX, Red Fox. Right? But it still could be a nod. It could be a play on the words. Something can serve dual purpose or not even be related to what you thought it was in the first place. So I thought it was in reference to the animal, but I could be wrong. That brings me to one of my favorite things I always say, which is, I always feel that the beginning of wisdom is the admission that you could be wrong. You have to go into any situation, not saying you are wrong. You have to, I think you have to at least acknowledge the possibility you could be in the wrong. That, to me, is where wisdom starts. It's not that you are wrong, but you could be. If you can acknowledge that, the world would be a better place. You have to be able to accept the possibility that maybe you got your information wrong. Maybe you thought about it the wrong way. Ooh, I'm starting to make that pull out a little bit more. I think I'm going to take a colored pencil to this when I'm done, too. Heighten up some of the stuff when I'm done. I need my seat, too. I need to go back a little bit. If my bot is a little annoying with the reminders about saving, I'm sorry. I've timed it to 15 minutes. But the reason I did that is because you do need to be saving your stuff every 15 minutes if you're working digitally. And I'm not talking just about like Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign or any of those fancy things. Even Word, Microsoft Word. Make sure you hit that save button. You might be working on a term paper. You might be just working on a novel. You might be working on a script. Or you might be just doing stuff that you need to do because you need to do it. In any case, hit that save button, because if you don't, a crash could take on all your hard work, and that would make me very sad. I know how frustrating that can be to lose your work, so don't do that. Save early, save often. It's like voting. You do it early and you do it often. No, I mean, that's the famous quote that obviously is kind of hilarious, because you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be voting often. But you get the point, though. Save your work, guys. It's very important. You don't want to lose what you're doing. Also, I love how I got a little bit of a pout under his lip without even trying to. Like, I'm just poking away at this drawing. I'm like, oh, look, I gave him a little bit of an underlip ridge. There we go. Sorry about all the little bit. I got a little bit of mic noise tonight. That's because I don't have my mic mounted to my regular holder. Matt, you know the name. The microphone holder thing. Crane arm is what I usually call it. I don't have it mounted to that, so I'm moving it around a lot, and my fingers accidentally hitting into the metal bracket that, the stand that holds it. And the reason being is I've got the camera attached to the actual mic boom arm. That's the name, boom arm. See, would you believe me if I didn't even look at the screen and I remembered what it was? I remembered our conversations, and then I looked over and it said boom arm. You'll never believe me because you already typed it out there. But I did. I remembered it afterwards. Because I remember how many times we talked about the boom arms. And Oh man, this boom arm has saved my life when it comes to broadcasting about painting. I need the light green BG 20 or 10. I mean, do a little bit under there. It's amazing how much cool gray is in this. You know what I need to do next, actually? Is actually do some of the eye. Because right now it looks so pale. But it's because he is pale. But if I do some of the eye colors, it'll look less pale. Because it will have some warmth in there. Let's see. We want to do 3 or 1 or what? Let's do 1 to do some structure. Because there's like an inner eyelid. We want to make sure we capture that quickly. Because right now what we're seeing is not a lot of, we're not seeing a lot of the detail. We're not seeing a lot of darks. And to me, I like getting a dark in there, so you have something to scale the rest of the drawing against. You have some kind of contrast to be like, oh yeah, this is as dark as it should go. And everything else should be lighter than that. Right now, everything is so pale and washed out because we have no darks established, no strong darks. So if I get some strong darks established, it'll make it a little bit easier to see what's going on with the rest of the drawing. Boom arm. Exactly, boom arm. Can't believe I forgot that. But then again, you know about your recording stuff, and I didn't really know. You taught me a lot about recording and stuff in general, Matt. So again, I appreciate that too. On a side note, I did something rather foolish this week. I love Overwatch. I've been playing on Xbox for years. Someone told me in another channel that Overwatch, it was on sale because of the Lunar New Year event. I was like, okay, cool. So while it was on sale for $15, I bought it for PC too. Now, they do play differently. And Overwatch on PC lets you do the test realm for when new things come out. So I'll be able to test things that you can't test on the Xbox. And also, too, if Xbox ever decides not to carry Overwatch anymore, or if I, for whatever reason I can't play on Xbox, I will forever and always own Overwatch on PC. So whatever computer I'm on, I sign in my Blizzard account, I say download, and I'll have access to Overwatch. I've always wanted to get it, but I couldn't justify the expense. But for $15, it's hard to beat buying another license for a game you already own. It's hard to. I wouldn't normally if I didn't have the money, and I did have the money. $15. I was like, $15, that's nothing. $15 is for a game that normally costs $60. I mean, now it's not even $60. It's like, I think 30 or 40, and it was on sale for cheap. The only difference was that they had the Legendary Edition for $20, but I couldn't justify spending $5 more for a bunch of in-game costumes I'll never even use, because I've got the Legendary Edition for my for Xbox, and I never use the skins in Legendary Edition. So I'm like, why would I spend all that extra money again to buy stuff I'm never even really going to use anyway? See, I couldn't justify. I couldn't justify spending extra $5. But $15 to get a Overwatch for my computer for when if I want to play and I don't want to be. If I don't want to be on the Xbox, it means I can play Overwatch in bed if Early needs somebody to be with her when she's falling asleep. I don't have to be downstairs. Only bad thing is I can't play with a lot of my friends that have Xbox if I'm upstairs. But I mean, again, it's only a thing I might use occasionally. That's why I'm glad I didn't sink a ton of money into it. Because again, I don't want to spend that kind of money on something. Like I wanted to get the like for example, I wanted to get Minecraft for my PC, but again, I so rarely play games on my PC, I really couldn't justify it. Plus, who would I play with? But at least with Overwatch for PC, I know people that do play Overwatch on PC. Although I stink at it. You think have you got 7 days of or Empiren? No, I don't. I don't even know what Empiren is. Although I think I told you this. I got into Don't Starve. No. What's the name of that game? Sus. Among Us. I got into Among Us. Finally got into Among Us. I'm not that good at being an imposter. I think I told you this. The first game I played, that was an imposter. Guy's like, blue sus. I was blue. was like, oh man. He's like, dude, you vented right in front of me. I was like, I didn't know you were behind me when I vented. I mean, I knew I'd messed up. He goes, sus. I'm like, yeah, I'm found out. There's nothing I can do to defend it. I know. He's like, you vented right in front of me, dude. What were you doing? I was like, brand new to the game. Didn't know you're behind me. Didn't know the stealth game yet, my friend. Unlurk. I need an unlurk command. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at imposter. I also hate to lie about it. I don't mind because that's the game. Like, I understand. Like, I don't have no more objections to lying in a game. That's the point of the game, you know? It's like I play a lot of, like, Jackbox games. So, like, when it comes to, like, fibbage and stuff like that, I don't mind making stuff up because I'm like, it's understood that I'm not lying to deceive for truth. I'm lying to deceive because that's, you know, the point of the game is to play trickery. But I can understand that, though. I'm not a very good liar in real life. I'm too honest to lie in real life. But in the game, oh, like, I'm bad at poker because I didn't understand poker faces and how they work and how not to tell. And like, like when I first played poker, and not for money, mind you, it was just chips. You know, chips had value and that was it. No buy-ins or anything with actual cash. I didn't get that, you know, a lot of what you're talking about in poker as being a tell isn't your face. It's also how you're betting, how big, you know, what cards you're showing and how much that could possibly mean. Like, if you suddenly go all in a pot where you've got, like, you know, obvious cards on the table, you're like, wait a second, this guy must have a big hand if he just went all in on this. No, not the chocolate variety. We just use chips. We just were like, here, a stack of chips. Everybody gets the same amount of chips. These represent 1. These represent 5. These represent 10. These represent 100. Go. And they weren't actual cash. You didn't have to buy cash again. We just handed them out at the start of the day. So it was just for fun and for honor. It wasn't for actual, like, cash. Okay, so the eye's looking a little bit better now that I've got some color on there. Again, I wanted there to be a dark value so we have something to scale the rest of it against. I'll get the other eye in a second. Right now it's kind of like, oh. I made a funny face y'all couldn't see. I forgot I wasn't on camera. Sorry. But yeah, I wouldn't play poker for money. I don't have that much faith in my abilities as a poker player. I don't even have that much faith to not have faith. I mean, I'm bad. I got better when I played, there's a game called Poker Night at the Inventory, which takes famous celebrity fictional characters and makes them poker players. So, like, you can play against, like, you know, Ash from Evil Dead, Claptrap from what do you call it, Borderlands. Oh my gosh, my favorite part is when you win a hand and then Claptrap's like, of course you win with those cards. Anybody could win with those cards. Steve could win with those cards, and all he ever says is AO. Like, really? Did I just have a sassy robot say that even a dummy could win with those cards? Thanks a lot, Claptrap. I still love when Claptrap goes, Minion, come follow me. Minion. Like, no. I don't serve you, little robot guy. I know that Claptrap was, you know, I think he won video game voice character of the year because of the guy that performed him just did a kick butt job. And I know it got to be a little bit of cliche and people got annoyed with hearing Claptrap all the time, but I don't know. He still did a great job. Regardless of how overplayed it got, he did a great job. And here, I'm playing poker against a little robot that's being all sassy is hilarious. I'm remembering some of the conversations that would come up in Poker Night in the Inventory. And Brock Sampson, he goes, why do I smell like burning oil? And he says, you run on gasoline, little man? Talking about Claptrap. And Claptrap's like, oh no. But I found out the ladies go crazy if you put a little dab of the gasoline behind each ear. And you're like, wait, is he using gasoline burning as a cologne for other robots? It's completely nonsensical and so wonderful. Oh my goodness. I would play for some chocolate chips though. I tell you what, Matt, I would play for some chocolate chips. We'll play poker for chocolate chips. I may not have many at the end of the day, but ooh boy, would I try to. I love me, especially the dark chocolate. Like, I don't mind milk chocolate. I'll have that. White chocolate can go get lost. It's the imposter chocolate. It is like butane, if you know what I mean. If you've ever seen King of the Hill, you know what I mean when I say that it's butane. It is not the actual chocolate. It is the butane of chocolates. I won't say the word that Hank says. You know, it does literally mean childless. However, I will not say the word. You'll got the inference from that. I want to keep this stream G to PG. And I wouldn't say it's necessary to PG word, but it can be a PG word, and I don't want to include it. I love how bent out of shape Hank Hill gets over that, though. About his about non-propane gases. It's funny. But that reminds me of another thing at King of the Hill. There was a I made a meme at work because sometimes we have to call out to the people in my call center job, and sometimes the name that they provide on the form doesn't match the name on the voicemail. You'll get like Ellen Smith, and like, you've reached the voicemail of Thomas Jones. You're like, who's Thomas Jones? So I used the meme of when Bobby's doing the self-defense class for women. He's like, I don't know you. That was what I said. I said, this is what happens when we call up the name and the voicemail and the name doesn't match the name from the form. I don't know you. It's true though. It's like, we work in a business where sometimes the people provide their like an alternate name or contact. So it's not that jarring, but it can be a little bit like, who are you then? If you're not the caller, if you're not the person who reached out to us, then who are you? I don't know you. I think the other part was, that's my purse, I believe. Because Bobby Hill doesn't really get social norms. He goes beyond social norms. So he took a self-defense class for women that teaches him how to protect his purse. Bobby Hill. It's been a while since I've seen King of the Hill. I'm going to have to go rewatch a good chunk of those shows. Sometimes it got a little bit redundant, but the show is still pretty good. It's from Mike Judge, who created Beavis and Butthead. So that's a swerve if you've ever heard it, right? But one thing he was really big on was when designing the characters for the King of the Hill, he designed them on actual paper, not on computer. He's like, I wanted him to be traditional animated. And that's actually why he's good friends with Don Hertzfeldt, who created if you've ever seen the Rejected cartoons, My Spoon is Too Big. That's Don Hertzfeldt. And he's chummy chums with Mike Judge, King of the Hill, and Beavis and Butthead fame, because Mike Judge wanted a very hand-drawn look for those characters, both for Beavis and Butthead and for King of the Hill. He wanted it for both. And Don Hertzfeldt does all of his stuff. All of his stuff is, in fact, hand-drawn. I think he's starting to use some CGI backgrounds, but everything else, like all the characters, are hand-drawn on pieces of paper with pen and ink. And in fact, there's a one called, what's it called? Lily and Jim, I think it is. It's about a blind date that kind of goes awry. And at the end, it's kind of sad because you're like, oh my gosh, they're exactly alike. And the thing keeping them apart is that they are exactly alike. And so Lily and Jim's a very bittersweet film. But the backgrounds of that are all pretty much just his friends took graphite pencil and just rubbed it into the paper. So it's like page after 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 page. And I'm not going to say how many there are, but there's hundreds of pages. And he says, my friends were all helping rub graphite into the backgrounds of all the images. Because he didn't have a separate background. They were all drawn on paper. So every single page had to have hand-rubbed graphite anytime there was a background that required it. So it wasn't like he could just take a shortcut and be like, oh, okay, take that one background, do it once, and we're good. Every single shot of the characters had a different thing of rubbed graphite under the background. So, it must have been a mess for his friends' hands. All these people with graphite in their fingers. It must have been horrific. I mean, the final effect is that it's like, oh, hey, cool, look at all this depth and layers in his work. But the truth is, he must have just had messy fingers. It's amazing how much cool gray I'm putting on this drawing, by the way, guys. But I mean, it's actually, if you look at it, it's actually very blue-green because of the lighting. But if you put enough green on it, it's going to read green, especially with the green there and other places. Let me see here. I have the 4 handy. No, it's in here. But there's some warm shadows in here, so I'm going to throw some warm colors into here. That was a ticket right there. That's pretty awesome right there. Because with the cool and the warm grays layered, it reads almost like a green, like a khaki green. And where's that blender? Here we go. Here's the blender. There we go. All right, 3. I don't have 3 handy, do I? No, it's over here. I don't know why I thought 3 would be the perfect one. Probably because it's the only one that hasn't joined the party. And the worst part is I'm going to have to probably leave these markers exactly like this for next time. So my desk is just going to be a mess for a minute. Because otherwise you're going to see the markers suddenly disappear and change. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that in the middle of this stream for the W6. Here we go. I want everything to be as seamless as possible. Again, little glitches I know won't really be seen in a speed, in a sped up video like it's going to be for a speed draw. But again, I'd rather minimize as much hiccups as possible. I'd rather have it be as smooth as possible, the least amount of editing, the least amount of awkwardness if I can manage it. I've got enough awkwardness in my life, am I right? No, but again, the least amount of editing I can muster out of this, the better. Because it would be good to just be like, speed it up and call it a day. That's pretty good. The eyes of that are popping up pretty good. I might need to put some of the next darker color on there. I might need to up the contrast on this too for the camera. Let's see here. Take some 4-inch, throw that in there too. There's a little bit of warmth on the underside here, but again, this warmth is going to look like khaki when it's done because of the way it works. This warm gray is going to look very khaki. Now my next question is what I'm going to do about that robe color. That robe color is going to be tricky. Again, I'm not going to be super worried if I don't get it exactly right, but I'd like to get close. I'd like to get super close if I can manage it. If I can muster it. All right, I need this blue-gray. I'm going to scatter some of that in there, like that. There we go. He's coming along so cute. Upside down, it didn't look so good, but right side up, it looks cute again. And I'm going to probably go to town with it once I get this all done. I got colored pencils, and you can layer colored pencils on top of Copic, but it's not recommended to go the other way around because the Copic alcohol will melt the wax in Prismacolor pencils and will just melt into the tips of your pencils, of your markers, and ruin them. So never use Prismas and then use Copic because the Copic will literally, like I said, melt into the marker and ruin the tips of the marker, corrupting it. I'm looking for my C0. I'm seeing 0, which is the blender. Oh, there it is. Another layer. I have 2 layers worth of markers. You saw it was like right there. But yeah, never use the Copic markers after you've used Prismacolor pencils. Because, like I said, the wax, the alcohol in the Prismas will act as a solvent, dissolving the wax and coating the marker tip with wax. And I don't need to tell you what happens to wax. Things that get covered in wax, they get sealed. And you'll effectively seal off your markers so they won't flow anymore. And markers, like an excellent wrapper, need to have good flow. See what I did there? How's our frame rates? Speaking of that, 0.1%. I've dropped 179 frames since the start. How about that, guys? That is a spicy. I'll get some spices in there. Do a spicy real quick. If I can find my pointer. I can never find my pointer. Here we go. Well, that's cool, but that's not what I wanted. Channel emotes. Here we go. Spicy. There we go. Spicy. That's a nice spicy amount of frames, guys. I know a lot of streamers have been struggling lately, so it's good. It's good that we're having good frame rates, but obviously understand folks when some folks are having some struggles. One of my streaming friends, she's been having some troubles with her internet, and my heart goes out to her. And I think she's finally got it fixed because she's back to streaming art again. Thank goodness. But it has been a struggle for her to get to that point again, and I've just been like, ugh, she didn't need that kind of a struggle. She did not need that struggle. And technology doesn't work, especially when you've paid for it from a third-party company. It's always frustrating, you know? You paid for a service, you paid good money for it, you worked hard to earn the money to get that, and then it doesn't work. It's just, like I said, it can be very disheartening. Disheartening. Is that even a word, guys? Is that even a word? Disheartening. I'm going to need a channel command that says, you know, add vocabulary word. It's already made deaded. Deaded. Okay. There's that. Yes. So I love it when it comes together. There we go. A lot of wrinkles. And some of these wrinkles may kind of blend out when I do this with the marker, but I can always come back with a colored pencil and introduce those more boldly. Okay. Let's see here. There's that line there. That's going to be... Look at that right there. Sometimes it's better to go in with when you've got very, yeah, this is going to go like this, isn't it? Nope, too bold. 0 or 1? Let's do 0. Start off with 0. I'm coming with a powerful wave of hunger. What did I have for dinner, guys? Oh, it was a baked potato. It was an excellent one my wife made. A baked potato. Loaded with cheese and honey bacon bits. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And now I'm hungry again because it was like 5:30 when I ate last. So it's been 6 hours. Sometimes I'm like, why am I hungry again? I'm like, wait, put it in perspective, Jay. How long has it been since we've eaten? All right, so I've got 0, 1, 2, 3. Probably need a 5. Do I have Cool Gray 5 handy? Not there. Oh, but I also have this color here, this E71, which is a pretty good color for weird shading too. Label that one real quick. E71. And actually, I want to see if I can get one more dose of warmth into here. I've got colors like that. I just have to find which one it is. Is it yellow, red, 07? Let's try that. This might be a bit too bold. We'll see. With all these muted colors, this will really pop. It's a little dark. Do I have another one that's a lighter shade of that? YR... I don't think I've got one that color. We'll try R14 as well. Oh, let me label that color. It's YR07 up down the bottom part. YR07. And then R14 here. R14 is a little coral. But we can add that in there and see what that does. That's actually not so bad. I might do this real quick. Introduce some of the orange in there. Just a little bit. Oh, that's not so bad. Do I have a little bit of an orange color I can throw? Yep, let's try Y17. This might be the warmth I need. Yeah, that'll be right. Y17. I'll put yellow over my fingers. What can you do? Grab that colorless blender, blend it out so it's not so hard of an edge. Just a little bit of softness there. There we go. Now you got some nice warmth coming in there. Makes it pop out. I'm going to also take a quick look at some of the other colors. And I think we're going to use some of the E70 on that. E70 is where? Here we go. E70 I think is a color I use a lot. I believe I've got the refill for it. It doesn't look like I do, but I use it a lot, I think. Not the paint bucket tool. Yeah, we're going to use this real quick. Get that nice and filled in here real quick. I swear that's meant to emulate the tabla. Actually, I think it is a tabla now that I think about it. Emulate the tabla. I'm pretty sure that is the tabla. I think people hear tabla and they immediately think of belly dancers. Because it has that kind of tinny sound to it. Almost like a tinny bongo drum. Bongo drum. Let's try that again. Bongo. What Debbie's gonna have for dinner? I didn't think to ask her. I was more concerned about getting her off the stream so she could go eat and so she didn't feel like she had to stick around. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, hey, stick around and talk to me what you're gonna eat instead of actually eating. That would be real. So sometimes as a person that tends to be very empathetic, I know when I'm hungry, I'm just like, get me the quickest path to get food. So I didn't want to, slow her down by saying, hey, let's have a conversation about your food, which we can easily talk about in your next stream. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be accidentally rude. Somebody told me they have to go. I'm like, I'm not going to ask them what you're going to, hey, wait, before you go, what are you going to do when you go? I sometimes do that accidentally, and I catch myself doing it. I'm like, let me not do that. Oh, there we go. It's coming along really well, I think. This color could be blended a little bit better, but I think the paper's soaked quite a bit, so I have to kind of slowly build up the layers so that they're somewhat even. And the next thing I need to do is, I have 71, which is the next color I need to layer on. I just had it handy. Where did I put that? I think at the end of this stream I'll put away most of the markers. And then I'll bring them back out for the next session. Here's E71. Otherwise, it's going to just get bonkers with me having all these markers around. But if I put them mostly away, it will look like I did that on purpose. It'll look like I planned it that way. My goal is to try to make a print out of this, but the original I have good plans for, guys. I always find it funny when the notifications pops up saying, be sure to save your work when I'm doing traditional art, but the notification isn't for me per se, it's for people watching my channel as well. And a lot of you might be working while I'm working. I know I work on a lot of stuff when I watch other streamers. So again, that notification isn't for me to remind myself to save as much as it is to be, hey, maybe you should save too. Good stuff. Now I have to determine what the darker color is going to be here, because I need to have a darker color. And did I have Y24? Did I make a sample of that? I don't think I did. YR24? I didn't. Yeah, that might be a good one. And I'll brown it down too. So that's YR4. Keeping in mind, I gotta keep it in the borders. Don't want to overpaint by that mistake. That'd be horrible if I, put a color blotch right in the middle of the drawing. Ooh. I think that's gonna be the whole. Yeah, it's gonna be the whole area. So I'll switch to the brush tip and just fill in this whole area here, starting here where it's the darkest. There we go. And I think I might cut this short at it's almost 11:40, so I might break off at 11:45. I'm getting very hungry, guys. I haven't looked in recently to see who's on to kind of start planning a raid. Have not planned that yet. And I need to make a raid script, guys. If any of y'all are still from Debbie's raid, you know, feel free to use that script because I love her script. You know, it's kind of cool because it says like, was it showering with love and good wishes or something, and it's a really nice script. So if you still got that in your copy paste, you know, go ahead and use that. I need to make a raid call. I'm actually way past the border already. I'm still calling it in very, very fervently. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit because I'm starting to layer it a little bit too thick, but that's okay. I can always, like I said, tweak it later. I might be oversaturating the paper right now, so I'm just gonna kind of hatch it a little bit out here. Yeah, that paper's super soaked, so I'm gonna let it feather naturally out. And I think I want to get back to W7 to heighten up some of the eyes real quick before I call it a night. I do want to definitely get, you know, more of a darkness in the eyes real quick. It's not my last goal of the night, but it certainly is a goal of the night. I want those eyes to really pop. Trying to think more painterly, not thinking about making too many marks on the page. You know, thinking more about the shapes of the marks themselves rather than worry about, you know, what's this look like, what's that look like. If I see a sharp edge, make a sharp edge. If I don't see a sharp edge, blend it out. That sort of a thing. So that's pretty good. And we'll carry on this love to the next person. I like being able to pay it forward like that, guys. I really do. There's a lot of wonderful people on here, and it never ceases to amaze me. I'll be watching for days and weeks on Twitch nonstop, and then out of nowhere I'll just find somebody. I'm like, how have I never found this person until just now? Like, it's just like an absurd wealth of riches. And the thing is, I think I read some of those, like somewhere around 27,000 partner Twitch streams, but I also have to realize that a lot of that is weighing heavily in the gaming side of things. I don't know how many of those folks are artists. So the artist community is thriving in Twitch. Don't get me wrong. But I also think it's one of the smaller communities. Not to say that it's bad in any way. Not at all. I think the love has to be pretty tight when the group is smaller. And like I said, that's the one thing I've been overwhelmed with. I've had good days and bad days on Twitch. There'll be times I'll go into a room and it'll feel like I'm not even welcome there. And you have to shake those days off. And I've got friends. It's good to have friends here. I'm not real life friends, not real life friends. Both of those are very important. I have real life friends here on Twitch, local friends here that are close to where I live, friends I have made online years before I ever was on Twitch, or at least while I was on Twitch, but years before they ever broadcast. Coworkers, people I met randomly in the store one time. I was like, oh my gosh, I know who you are. That sort of a thing. You know, so again, it's been just an amazing experience overall for me. But again, I like paying it forward. You know, I think it's something that, again, there are good days, there are bad days. I do struggle sometimes with personal connections. Just in general, sometimes I don't know how to react to bad situations. It's been my personal struggle and something I've needed to grow with. And I've learned a lot this last year, and even before. I don't like to, you know, hide things too much, but I go to counseling. It helps me so much, especially what we've been going through in the world lately, with so many things. And you know, counseling's helped me a lot. And we all need somebody to listen to us. And I think, you know, and that's why I have my message there. I have my hello message. I want to type it real quick because I think we're going to wind down here because it's going to be a very special time for just relaxing. And But see, I said, I want you to know no one is ever broken. Nobody's really broken. We all are working on our stuff. We all want to be heard and loved. We hear you, love you, and want you to know you matter. We appreciate you for being you and for being here with us. And that's very true. But especially so. I mean, I go through periods where I sometimes feel neglected and left out. And if that ever happens here, just know it's not on purpose. Sometimes things get lost in the stream of things, and sometimes I know I'm not everybody's favorite person, and that's okay too. Sometimes it's tough to hear that though. I know it's one thing I've struggled with too a lot is, maybe not hearing that some people I really wish would like me don't care to be around me, and that's very heartbreaking. But it's a reality we have to accept. But in the end of the day, there is, we are all worthy of love. Even if we, if we make a mistake, that's one thing. I used to beat myself up for mistakes so much. I used to hold myself accountable too much for my mistakes. I would never give myself forgiveness, and I'd always be suspicious of other folks' motives because I wouldn't forgive me. And because I wouldn't forgive me, I suspected they didn't either. And so it's been a struggle for me to kind of accept the fact that sometimes people don't think as badly about me as I fear that they do. And I think that's pretty true. But I think it's important to know that, even when you have a bad day, when maybe it feels like no one wants to talk to you or that you're not valued, that you are still. And it's very important to find those connections and, understand that even if you don't have those connections immediately, that, even in the interim, you are worthy. Sometimes it just helps to, get out a favorite flavor or get out a favorite scent, put on music. And some of the best times I've ever had in my life has been blasting the music of Philip Glass on my home speaker. It's not music for everybody. It's very, very strange. It's very repetitive, but I love it a lot. And I see beauty in the repetitions. And that was kind of Philip Glass's point. And, he was trying to make something different and help you see the world in a new way. And I do hear his music, and I do see the world in a new way when I listen to his music, and not everybody does. And sometimes it's just nice to appreciate that even if not many people get that I like Philip Glass, and not many people get Philip Glass, and sometimes I don't, but appreciate the fact that most of the time I do. And that makes me very unique, and it's very special. And I think we need to celebrate what makes us special, and not worry about if anybody else will accept us for that. Just be special for who we are. I love my French press coffee, so sometimes that's one of the things I'll do is I'll put on my French press coffee, brew a pot of that. Smell of coffee means a lot to me. I liked it before I even drank my first cup. I find it to be very relaxing. It's very comforting smell to me. I know a lot of folks might put them on edge because of the caffeine, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. I find comfort in cheese. I love cheese. But again, not everyone can have cheese. A bunch of my friends are lactose intolerant, and sometimes I forget that, and I'll be like, "Why don't you want to come with? Why don't you want to, come to dinner with me and my friends?" And they're like, "Well, because you're going to go to that place that serves mostly, pizza. I can't have pizza, the cheese." And sometimes we have to remember that other folks are struggling through things that maybe we don't fully understand, and be patient with it. Wait till you can understand them better. And that's one thing I try to sympathize with other people's points of view. I'm a very sympathetic person, or empathetic, or both. The problem is sometimes I don't understand the point of view, even though I'm trying to struggle so hard to find it. But I think, if you're doing your best to try to be the best person you can be, and you keep trying to be better, then, that's what really matters. None of us are truly great people, and none of us are truly evil people, I don't think. I don't think there's very many truly evil people. And truly great people are very hard to come by. But at the same time, I feel like we can fail a lot, but we can actually make up for it by trying our best each time. I think I'm definitely getting to the wind-up stages. My eyes are getting a little tired, but I also want to punch in some of these darks in the mouth because I feel like I'm sculpting up the face already. And also, let me take some colorless blender here and blend out that a little bit. Oh, that was a nice touch. It's super, super close to completing in some stages. Let's get, this is the YR7, right? couple rough lines I don't like. A couple dots of color just to blend those out. There we go. Much better, much better, much better. Just to smooth out some of the roughness. Makes that ear really pop out there. He's looking so cute already. But yeah, the grays and the grays were perfect touch. What was the one thing I wanted to do? Oh, I think I wanted to carry over the... Wasn't there a color I wanted to use for that? 95? So I want to get some of that up there. EO4, was EO4 in there? I think EO4 will work. That's another thing too. I hear my puppies pacing. Usually when they're pacing, they're saying, "Dad, it's getting late. Can we go outside?" And they're right. They need to go outside. So I will put this in here real quick. Right, dude. Okay, let's see. Yep. This is one of those songs. It's a good wind down song for the evening, right? That's the way I always look at it. Get some nice feathers on that edge. Ooh, spicy. I need a light pink to blend that out. Do I have a light pink? RV91 would work. Where's RV91? Oh, right in front of me. My eyes went right to it, guys. It was destiny. There we go. So a lot of this can just be cut right out, you see. It's going to be just like... That's the part that stinks. It's like most of it's going to be cut off right to there. I've done all this coloring above it, and we don't even need to worry about it. But, you know. So anyway, that's a good start so far. Do I want to do some more on the edge of the ear? See, now I'm nitpicking, guys. I mean, I'm not nitpicking. I'm just 93. Where's 93? I'm trying to pad it out to... Oh, I was going to try to pad it out to 1140... What you call it? 1145, and it's already 1148. So there's no excuse for me not to be pulling up Twitch to be looking at the who's on the almighty broadcasting tonight list. Well, that was a weird ASMR sound, wasn't it? Let me see. Yeah. I was just realizing, wait, I'm filming still, Jay. But, I mean, again, these little quick little moments are not going to be so disruptive to a long... By the time I speed it up, you're never going to see it. All right. So... We're going to do a couple more touches there. And again, I can blend some of this out. The good thing about the Copics is that they don't stay dry. They're not, you know, what I'm trying to say is that if I put something down and I don't like it tomorrow, I can always go back and blend it back out and it'll be fine. So, let's see. Like I said, if it's a little too harsh, a little too strong, it can be blended out again. There we go. I feel like Bob Ross. Ooh, look at that. I'm actually going to do a Bob Ross emote, I think. Replace some of my older emotes. Because I'm a big fan of Bob Ross. Grew up with Bob Ross, so. All right, guys. This is me nitpicking until I'm calling it 12:30 at night. So, on this note, with a cute little Grogu face in front of us, let me go ahead and start... packing up some of the less relevant colors so it won't look so obvious on the next stream. Y23 can go right there. Oh, it's Y. Oops. All right, so... But anyway, I think we're in pretty good shape so far. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm going to nitpick this if I keep going at it. So, guys, let me go ahead and get some streams pulled up real quick, just so I can see who's on and who's doing what. Because I really would love to see if we can find some beautiful person to pay it forward to. We are going to twitch.tv. It's funny, when I type in T, it goes to twitch.com, and then it's like, oh, twitch.tv, sorry. It's been changed, hasn't it? Oh, okay. Okay, Matt. The name is Mr. Horologist. Mr. Horologist is in fact, let me text that to you. He is the guy that does the beautiful streaming. I'm trying to find an art channel. There's Nagasaki, but she's playing Animal Crossing. Here's Kittens. There's a lot of friends on right now. A lot of friendos. Nekatish is on. I was hoping my new friend Nathan Art would be on, but he's not. So we're gonna go to Nekatish. Nekatish is or Nekati. I forget how to say her name. She does really cool things. She comes up with her stuff is too cute to be creepy and too creepy to be cute. She's a really pleasant person. She keeps things G, very calm, very peaceful. I love that about her. I'm gonna cut the stream right here, guys. I'm actually gonna go to the screen because I can actually cut it here. As long as I don't touch anything else, I'll be fine. As long as I don't move anything, we'll be fine. So, because that's where I'll cut the video. I'll download the VOD and then splice it there, and then don't touch anything, and then come back and we'll resume, and then you'll never know I did this. You'll never know. So I think we're gonna raid Nekatish or Nekati. I can't remember how you say it, but Neki. We'll call her Neki. She, like I said, her stuff is too cute to be spooky and too spooky to be cute. Let's peek. I'm gonna peek in real quick to make sure. Oh, she's got 16 viewers. She's gonna love a raid. Yeah, we'll do that. There's something pretty as well. Oh, and she's wearing it. Oh, her setting has changed. She usually has this gray drop cloth, and she also usually wears like black clothes. And today she's wearing a very bright, flowery dress. It's kind of unusual for her. So it's kind of cool to see her in a more bright setting. It's kind of interesting. She might not be in her regular settings. That might be why. This is Charlie Lister. Okay, he does some cool things. Something pretty. I don't know what something pretty was doing. No, we're gonna raid. Yeah, we're gonna definitely raid Neka. She's cool. She's good people. She'll be a good person to relax to because she has a very relaxing voice. She's Australian, so it's her daytime for her. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let me wind this down, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks again to Devi Cat for the raid. My first ever actual real raid that wasn't one person coming in on a weird stream. Because I even talked to the person that raided me at that time and he never spoke. So I was like, was this a bot that did this? I don't know. But oh my gosh, let me go to end and we'll transfer over to Neki because she's, like I said, she's super cool. Definitely deserving of an awesome raid with you guys. You've been so wonderful here tonight, guys. And like I said, you will love her. She is amazing if you've never seen her before. So like I said, it's spooky stuff, cute, never harmful. Let me find where you do the raid channel. Here we go. Do I have her open? I always hate doing this because I never have the channel open before I do the raid, so I never see it actually carry off. All right, here we go. So let's buckle in, guys. And like I said, if you want to use Devi's raid call, please do. Please feel free. We'll pay that love forward. All right, so let me grab this tab, drag that over there. I don't know why I narrate everything I do, guys, but I do. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks for being such lovely folks. Come again. I'll be here again next Friday, resuming this. Hopefully, I won't touch a thing of this drawing, so that when we resume on Friday, the cut won't be so obvious. And I'll resume, and hopefully we'll get it done. I think we're about halfway done. I do have to find some colors for the Grogu's little sweater, but I think we're about close. I mean, we're pretty close to being done. And then I might add some, like I said, some colored pencil on top of it. Definitely some gouache for his hairs. So it'll be really good. It'll make the hair pop. So it'll be really good. So let's raid her, and it'll be great. You guys will love her. And thanks again for tuning in, guys. Please stay good. And if you can't stay good, stay safe. I love you all, and thank you for coming by.